that's why we're going so early, to be fair. That's why we're going so early. We are live. Hey guys, how you going today on BKR Sport? We have a big, massive, damn well game today between the Brisbane Broncos and the Canterbury Bulldogs at Suncorp Stadium. I do have to adjust the time down here, actually, so I may as well just do this now before Jay or somebody in the chat starts complaining, oh, the time is wrong. What's going on? You know, I'm getting ahead of Jay, because otherwise, I tell you what, man, it'll be a nerve-wracking thing. It's nerve-wracking having to deal with that kind of stuff. But today's game is a massive one, man. Today's game is a massive one where the Bulldogs, obviously, they are currently undefeated. The Broncos coming off of a loss, which they just definitely did not expect, against a New Zealand Warriors team over there in New Zealand that really surprised everyone. You know, like, it's good to see the Wars doing as well as they have been so far this season. They are sitting up there in fourth, but, you know, the Broncos never would have expected that, especially considering the Warriors were missing guys like Fisher Harris. They're missing guys like Chance Newell-Gluckstad. They were missing a whole bunch of talented players in their roster, whilst the Broncos, they came in pretty much just full strength. So, you know, it sent a bit of shockwaves amongst the Bronx, because they started to, you know, question the signing of Ben Hunt. You know, they're waiting on Ezra Mam, even though I don't believe necessarily he should be playing. You know, the point of the matter is that there's a lot of there's a cat amongst the pigeons of the Bronx right now, where they're trying to figure out kind of what the goal is with this season, because there has been a very 50-50 amount of consistency, which completely goes against the word consistency, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see how they come out. But again, the other team they're playing, the away team, is the pillar of consistency so far this season, where they have not lost a game yet. Yes, there are still a lot of question marks about the teams that they've played, but my argument against that, and I'll argue for that, but my argument against that would be, one, you can only play who you're up against and what the draw gives you, but also, two, who is a team that you need to see the Bulldogs go up against to prove that they are the team that they are? The Storm are probably the team most people would say, and yet they've lost to the Dragons, and then last week they lost to the Dolphins despite being up 16-2. So it's like, you know, yeah, sure, okay, they beat the Titans, who aren't exactly pillars of the top. You know, they beat the, who's another team that the Bulldogs have beaten? A lot of them down the bottom end of the table, like the Eels and whatnot, right? These teams, yeah, sure, you can look at them and go, the Bulldogs haven't proven a great deal. But even the teams up the top end of the table, like the Storm, or like the Broncos, or like the Sharks, and especially the Panthers, who really is a team that you can say with chest and confidence right now that they are going to prove to you that the Bulldogs are the real deal if they beat them, right? Because you can find reasons to kind of criticize teams like the Storm, the Broncos, the Sharks, the Panthers, especially the Panthers, right? So, you know, it's a very interesting kind of thought process to have, where the one team that you'd probably look at right now is the Dogs, based on the fact they haven't lost a game yet. And no matter what happens in today's game, whether they win or lose, they actually would still be at the top of the table. They would still be there because they're on top by 4 points. So we've got a really interesting one here. Let's get to the two-team lineups and then give a little bit of an analysis, and then we'll obviously get into you guys in the chat. The game is about 50 minutes away, so I've decided to go a bit early here today because I'm so excited for this one. I really am. I'm so excited because this is a test for the Dogs. It would be, but you can also criticize that for the Broncos, right? But guys, obviously hit that like button and subscribe if you are new around here. The Broncos, they come into this game from 5th position, whilst the Dogs come into this game from 1st position. This is at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. The Broncos ins, Brendan Piakura, Josiah Katapani, and Martin Tapau, with the outs, Jordan Ricky, and a big one, Reece Walsh here, who has not been having a good season by any stretch of the imagination. But they don't also have Tristan Sailor anymore. They don't really have that kind of fullback depth anymore. So they have moved Selwyn Cobbo into the fullback here today. The wings are Dean Mariner and Jesse Arthurs. The centers are Tony Staggs and Gehamad Shibasaki. The halves, a lot of questions about them right now. Ben Hunt in the 6 and Adam Reynolds in the 7. He's also the captain. You go to the props, Patrick Carrigan and Payne Haas, the number 9 being Billy Walters. The back row is Xavier Willison and Brendan Piakura, with the 13 being Kobe Hetherington. The interchange, Corey Pakes, Corey Jensen, Jaden Hunt and Tyson Smoothie. And the 18th man replacement is Mutton Tapau. They've also got a reserve here, number 21 for Josiah Katapani, that'll probably drop off. And Michael Maguire is the coach. You look across this Broncos team, and most people are expecting them to be quite a high up on the table so far this year. I actually predicted them exactly where they are. So my ladder predictions at the start of the season, you're going to have a lot of, you know, differences, right? But I'm not too far off with a lot of them. So I did have the Storm in 2nd. I did the Bulldogs down 6th, so they're well higher and whatnot. I usually like to be within 3 spots, yeah? But this is only 7 rounds in, 8 rounds in, right? So let's just remember that. So I'm just going to put my phone on mute here. But I'm pretty happy with kind of how it's shaped out in the first 7 weeks based off of what I was thinking. The Raiders were in third when I had them in ninth, which was a lot higher than other people had them. The Warriors I got completely wrong. Absolutely completely wrong. But the Broncos I had there in fifth. I had the Broncos in fifth, and that's exactly where they sit right now. I just saw there's a little bit of inconsistency about them. But with that being said, they still should be a very good team. Now, a lot of people are looking at them as a potential top 4 team, and I could argue that because there is no guaranteed teams besides maybe the Bulldogs and maybe the Storm. I still don't think there's a guaranteed top 4 just yet, which is really exciting. But the Broncos, they just need to start living up to the talent they've got on their roster, and they've got to really figure out this number 9 game because they've got Billy Walters starting now, but I actually liked when Corey Pakes was starting in the 9 and Billy Walters was coming off the 14. Their forwards probably need a little bit of work. Payne Haas is obviously a big bopper, we all know that, but I still think their forwards outside of that do need a little bit of work to really live up to the name that they hold. And the back line with Gehamachi Misaki, I've really enjoyed watching actually this year, but they just have been kind of... It's weird because they have been defensively able to leak a few points, but not necessarily as much as you would expect considering that when the opposition team is absolutely pummeling them in the first 20 minutes. Like every game the Broncos play, the first 20 minutes is, say for example today, the Bulldogs just pummeling the line and the Broncos keep holding out. Now the team will score eventually, like the Cowboys game and the Dolphins game, but the Broncos, before that happens, will actually hit first and strike first, which has been a really impressive thing for the Broncos so far, but they still can leak quite a few points in massive clumps. Not kind of across the whole game, but in clumps. So that's something to look out for here with the Broncos today. The Bulldogs will start strong. That's a very Bulldogs thing to do, where they'll come in very physical. They'll really try to establish dominance and assert their dominance in the first 10, 20 minutes of a game, which will kind of put you on the back foot, and then you have to chase it from there, which is what the Panthers have done for many years now, and that's why we look at Serraldo as being a big change there. But let's go to the Dogs now. Blake Taaffe and Harry Hayes are in, with Jack Todd being out. The fullback is Connor Tracy. The wingers are Jacob Kiraz and Marcelo Montoya. Centres are Bronson Seri and Stephen Crichton, who is the captain. 5'8" is Matt Burton. The halfback is Sexy Sexton. Toby Sexton. He's the sexiest Sexton that you ever did see. The front row is Maxi King and Josh Curran. The number 9, Reid Marnie. Back row of Vili Bombili, Viliami Kikau and Jacob Preston. And the 13 is Jamin Salmon. With the interchange, Kurt Mann, Sitili Tupanua, Harry Hayes and Bailey Hayward. And the 18th man replacement is Daniel Suluka Fafita. Might be Blake Taaffe in the end though. But Sam, he looks so different to what he's been in recent years, Blake Taaffe. And Cameron Serraldo is the coach. Again, they are 6-0 with a bye. They are 6-0 with a bye, which is fantastic for the Dogs because they really have come into the season with a bang. And you look at the ladder, which we'll do in a second, their defense is amazing. Their attack is still not as good as other teams, but their defense is clearly well-defined, the best defense in the game based off of these opening 7 rounds. So it is really good to see there for the Dogs. There's always going to be question marks about that 7, but I do think Toby Sexton's having a really good season. I really do. I love their 1 through 5. I think it's so solid. And their forwards have been maybe like on paper aren't as great as other teams, but yet they are turning up and they are working hard for it. And it's been really impressive that the Dogs may not necessarily have that same belief from opposition fans, but they just, that forward pack is just so... They are really turning up for the team, and that's what's ultimately winning them games where they're just such a tough team to break down. So, look, this is a hard one because the entire season so far has been upset galore, right? Every single game, it's just all over the shop. You just don't know what's going to happen. I would say we've seen more upsets than favourites win so far this season. And the Bulldogs, I'm in India, so I don't get the odds. I can't receive the odds. But I would assume the Dogs will be coming into this one favourites, despite the fact the Broncos are at Suncorp. So there's a part of me where I say, well, the Broncos are at home. They are still a good team. They are inconsistent, but that would then base off of a loss that would come into a win. And they are kind of really looking to reassert themselves back up at the top of the table, and they're underdogs. So you could look at that factor. Dogs just really have been, like, are we waiting for a moment for them to drop off a bit? Like, maybe, but until that's proven, it's so hard to tip against them. I think that realistically, you tip the Dogs here, though. I think realistically, you tip the Dogs. But I think if you want to go for an underdog value, the Broncos would be that because they just have they do have the ability to win this game. And I would say that if there was an upset this weekend, it probably would come from this game. Like, there are some really good games this week, to be fair. Like, Roosters Dragons should be good tomorrow. Warriors Knights are a little bit shaky. Storm Rabbitohs are a little bit shaky. Cowboys Titans, you kind of never know how those two teams are going to come into it, but, a bit shaky. Panthers Manly will be a great game. The Raiders and Dolphins is a bit interesting, and Tigers Sharks is interesting as well, considering the Sharks haven't been as good as they were expected, and the Tigers are coming off an Eels loss. So, I think that if I was to back an upset this weekend, it probably would be the Bronx, but on a realistic level, you would be taking the Dogs based off of the season so far. Now, in regards to the ladder, the Dogs are in first position on 14 points. They've played 6 games, so obviously they've had a bye compared to the Raiders, who have played 7. They're 4 points behind them. So, win or lose, the Bulldogs will not go from first position today, because the Storm are on second with 10 points and a plus 70 points differential. The Raiders are in third with 10 points and a plus 46 points differential, but they haven't had their bye yet. And the Warriors, they're on 10 points with 6 games played. They've had a bye, and they're on minus 18 points differential. So the Warriors definitely need to start thinking. They really need to start adjusting. They really need to start adjusting that points differential, because if you want to be up there with the big dogs in that top 4, you can't have a minus 18. They're not the only team with a negative points differential. But what's crazy, right, is that the Warriors are on minus 18. The Rabbitohs are on minus 36 in 8th position. And then there are actually multiple teams with good positive points differentials down there in the bottom 8, which is the Dolphins plus 28, the Manly Seagulls plus 20, and also the West Tigers plus 12. And the Panthers aren't actually that far off a plus points differential too, with minus 10, despite being in third last. So the reason why I refer to that is because when you have negative points differentials like that, it's very much like a horse leading a race but being vulnerable. And you're vulnerable to losing one game and then a whole bucket load of teams just jump in front of you. So that's a bit of a worry there. But overall, the Bulldogs, regardless, win, lose, draw, they will be in first position at the end of this weekend. It would just be, if they had a loss, it would be their first loss. On the other side, you've got the Brisbane Broncos, where this is a lot more important in the scale of where kind of they're going to be finishing by the end of the weekend. The Broncos are in 5th position on 8 points after 7 games played. They have got a plus 54 points differential. So if they were to win this game, they would, for the time being, go above the Warriors before their Knights game tomorrow. They also would, regardless, go above the Raiders, who are plus 46. So they're already 8 above them. And then the Raiders, they play... Oh, no, the Raiders have the bye, don't they? I think the Raiders might have the bye. Or is it the Eels have the bye? Sorry. No, the Eels have the bye. So who do the Raiders play? The Dolphins. So that's a bit of an interesting game, actually, to be fair. The Panthers and Roosters, you need to win this week, otherwise you go last. So the Raiders play the Dolphins on Sunday. And the Broncos would have to win by 64, 74, 17 points to go above the Storm, which I don't see happening against the Dogs. I think if the Broncos were to win this game, it wouldn't be by, a 13-plus margin. I don't see that happening. It would be a complete catastrophe for the Dogs if they lost this game by 13-plus, and it would really bring them back down to earth and back down to the pack. The Broncos... Realistically, I'd be putting them into 3rd, but again, the Raiders and Warriors do have games to play this weekend. If they were to lose this game, if they lost by 13, they would go below the Sharks, who are plus 41. They would have to lose by 34 to go below the Dragons on 20. So the Broncos are on 8, which is equal with the Sharks, the Dragons, the Rabbitohs, and the Cowboys, but their points differential is far superior than everyone except for the Sharks, who are on plus 41. You just have to be kind of looking at how the other games play out, which the Sharks play the Tigers, so the Broncos could go down to 6th. The Dragons play the Roosters. The Broncos could go down to 7th. The Rabbitohs play the Storm. The Broncos could go down to 8th. And the Cowboys play the Titans, which the Broncos could then go down to 9th. And then you're going to start bringing in these 6-pointers. So with a plus 54, they are much better than the Dolphins plus 28 on 6 points, Manly plus 20 on 6 points, the Tigers plus 12, and then you don't even think about the Titans with minus 36 or the Knights with minus 60, which is ridiculous. So you kind of potentially be looking at maybe that Dolphins one with the 28 plus 28. If the Broncos lost this game by 14, bring them down to 40, and then the Dolphins won by 12 or more, they'll go above them. So I don't think that you'd be looking too heavily at that Manly one with them plus 20. But look, is there potential the Broncos could go down to 11th? Yeah, they're 5th. They could drop to 11th this weekend. But I'd probably place them smack bang in 8th or 9th by the end of the weekend if they were to lose this. So it is a big game for them. It really is. It is a big game for them because they can jump themselves up into that top 3. If they win by a big margin, potentially top 2, but they'd have to rely on the Storm losing to the Rabbits, the Raiders losing to the Dolphins, and the Warriors losing to the Knights. But we'll see how it goes, man. But obviously, let's get into the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying. Obviously, hit that like button and subscribe. We've still got about 35 minutes until the game does start here. A very, very big one. And Suncorp's going to be firing up, baby. Suncorp is going to be absolutely firing up. All right, let's move this chat across. Early stream? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, son. Yes, sir. Yeah, early stream, mate. Well, for me, it's only... In India, it's only 2:45 p.m. It's quite literally only 2:45 p.m. So, that's why I don't really mind going a little bit early here as well and just talking all about it. Olivia says time is wrong. No, it's not. Never wrong. Never wrong here on this channel. No way, Olivia. No way. Olivia Reed with your $8 donation. Says another day, another donor. I'm not at Suncorp tonight. That's a disgrace, Olivia. Enjoying the game from the couch in my warm and dry house. I hope we smash them. So well, to be fair, Dogs fans can be a little bit more lively, Olivia. So I can understand why maybe you would choose against this one, especially when they will have probably a good crowd there. But this is probably going to be a big crowd, I would assume. It's probably a big crowd, even though it's a Thursday night game. Yeah, Magic Round is next weekend. Maybe some people went up a little bit earlier and had the 2 games, one against the Bronx and then the next week against the Titans. On my birthday, actually, next Sunday, is when the Titans play the Dogs. So Dogs fans, hey, listen. All I need to say is have a little bit of sympathy. Have a little bit of compassion. Have a little bit of something for the big BKR, for the Blaze, all right? My birthday against the Doggies at Magic Round, the Titans, for the love of all that is mighty, do not smack us. Okay, do not smack us. Just have a little bit of sympathy. That's all I'm asking. That is all I'm asking. But thank you very much, Olivia, for the $8 donation. And, it's a disgrace that you're not at games. Who would do that? Who would not go to games? Unbelievable, eh? Not me. Definitely not me. Kelly says, up the Bronx. Stewie says, if Broncos win without Walsh, it would be pretty funny. Well, sure, but I don't think that you should be so heavily relying upon Reece Walsh. If anything, the Broncos should be relying upon their halves in Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds, realistically. Brett Nestle says, good games half the round. Well, it is a good round. It is a good round. Like, the Sunday games are a little bit of a dribble-drabble, but tomorrow's games I'm really looking forward to. Storm, Rabbitohs. Tomorrow, obviously, the Anzac Day games. Roosters, Dragons, Warriors, Knights, and Storm, Rabbitohs is... I don't think the Knights are going to be getting up for the Warriors. But then again, the Warriors always lose the Anzac Day games, man. The Warriors always lose the Anzac Day games. I cannot remember the last time the Warriors actually won an Anzac Day, whether it was against the Storm or whether it was against the Titans, because the Warriors have played the Storm, I think, 8 times in a row or 9 times in a row and lost all of them. And the Anzac Day game before that Storm started, the run started, was against the Titans, and we beat them in New Zealand. And then we played them last year on Anzac Day, and we also beat them in New Zealand as well. So the Warriors, for some reason, just can't win Anzac Day. So I don't think the Knights win that game, but I'm just throwing it out there. The Warriors are not a good Anzac Day. Jack Lewis says, reading almost everyone tipping the Bulldogs today, I can see it being, yeah, but it's the Bulldogs. Their fan base will force it into you. Even when they were coming last, bro, like, they would force it into the general population that they're going to be good. Like, I got ripped apart by Dogs fans in 2021 and 2022, and I said they were bad, and they were bad. They were really bad, so it's like, regardless win, lose, Dogs fans are just going to try and, like, kind of force it into your head that they're the greatest team of all time. I've got Broncos with a +10 head start in my bet, but everything I'm reading is telling me Doggies win. But if that's the case, if everything that you're reading is Doggies win, well, if you look at how the season's played out so far, the amount of upsets has been absolutely gigantic. It has been a gigantic amount of upsets so far this season. So if you wanted to go against the pack, it actually could be a good idea. But the Dogs are in first for a reason. They have been the most consistent team throughout the start of the season. And it's like, do you want to go with the upset based off of how the results across the comp have gone this year? Or do you want to go with the favourite based on the fact that they have been the most consistent? But also the Broncos aren't as bad as their results have shown, like, consistency-wise, but also they have been inconsistent. So there's a lot of factors here in play, and I don't think you're wrong to have whatever thought process you have going into this game. I don't think you're wrong to go with the upset, because the Broncos are good enough for an upset, especially at home. But I don't think you're wrong to go with the favourites, because they have been the most consistent team so far. So it's a very difficult game to read. Very difficult game. Andrew says Bulldogs is the benchmark. Sure. Yeah, sure. Right now, sure. Like, I still, long term have the Storm as the favourites for the comp, but I can understand why people would have that with the Dogs. Like, I can understand that. But I think this game is going to tell me the most about the Dogs so far this season. I think this is the one I'm waiting for. If they convincingly win this game against the Broncos, I think that will have convinced me. I think that would put the Bulldogs into favourites for the comp if they win this game at Suncorp, because this is not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. So if they win this game, I put my hands on and I say, the Dogs are genuine title contenders if they win this game in Suncorp today. Because people are going to look at the record and the results of the Broncos and say, you know, they're going to make excuses. If the Dogs win this game, a lot of general and casual fans are going to come out and make excuses and say Reece Walsh wasn't there for the Broncos, and the Broncos haven't been that good and blah, blah, blah. Anyone who knows the game of rugby league is very aware the Broncos do have a good roster. They are playing at home in Brisbane, and they do need this win, and they're not as bad as their results show. So if it's a close game, I still feel like that will have proven it to me that the Bulldogs are the real deal this year. Whether that means they win the comp or not, I don't know. I would be saying real deal with top four and pushing it deep into potentially the finals, because at least they had that one finals experience game last year that they lost to Manly. But it's so difficult, man. We're still 7 rounds in, but yeah, it's it's exciting. The season is exciting because you still have those questions despite being 6-0 team. Satish, hey Blaze, what's up? Still in India? Still in Udaipur, man. Still in Udaipur. I've been extending here. I've been loving it here. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. I don't know what that message was on Instagram. But yeah, no, I'm in Udaipur. Ben says, good evening, Mr. BKR. Good afternoon for me, son. Good afternoon for me. It's only about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah? Yeah, 2:50. Should we say, don't forget you had the Dragons in the 8. Yeah, no, I did. Yeah. Oh, no, I just stopped at the Broncos. My point was that I was starting from first and going down to the Broncos. But yeah, if you want my positions, I had the Dogs, who are in first right now, in 6th, which is not too far, but you know, a little bit off. The Storm I had in 2nd, and they're in 2nd. The Raiders I had in 9th, they're in 3rd. But I'm happy with that one. I'm okay with that one because I've been proven right that the Raiders are better than a lot of the people who are tipping them for last position, which is where a lot of people have the Raiders usually. No one really looks at Canberra. No one really cares about Canberra. So most people will look at them in like a negative light. But it's like if you actually go through their roster and you go through how Ricky gets them competing, ultimately, at the end of the day, the Raiders are not going to win the comp this year. It's just straight up. Like, it's just a fact. Canberra fans, you know, argue with the wall. You're not going to win the comp this year. But Ricky Stewart is always going to make the Raiders a very competitive team where they're going to push themselves into the top 8. So even though I had them for 9th, now they're up into 3rd position. There's a long season still to go. I'm very happy with how the Raiders have progressed to show that they are a pretty good team this year. But that doesn't mean that I think they're going to win the comp. The Warriors in 4th. I had them for 2nd last, so forgive me for that. That was poor. But then again, a lot of people had them for the bottom 4. The Broncos I had exactly in 5th. They're in 5th right now. The Sharks I had in 3rd. They're in 1st. They're in 6th, so I'm not happy with that. Dragons I had in 8th. Actually, Dragons, Rabbitohs, I had Rabbitohs in 7th and Dragons in 8th. Right now, the Rabbitohs are in 8th and the Dragons are in 7th. So just switch those, and I was correct there. Titans had an 11th, they're in 13th, so they're pretty similar to where I expected. I did have Manly, though, for 4th position. They're really underperforming. But then again, I did say in that predictions video that it does rely upon Trbojevic being healthy, which obviously he has not been. And then they've also had this Cherry Evans news that has just thrown, a whole spanner in the works as well. So I'm not confident on Manly. Potentially even top 8, really. I'll be honest with you. I do have a bit of a concern that Manly even make the top 8 with all this dribble with Tom Trbojevic injury and Cherry Evans. And I've never really believed in Anthony Seibold as the coach. I think that he's got a good roster there, but he was kind of gifted that roster in a lot of ways. So I do have major concerns about Manly long term, yeah. Thank you for becoming a member, Adam Smart. Get around your son. Wow, Adam Smart. You're unbelievable, mate. Smartest thing you ever done, Adam Smart. That's the smartest thing you ever done. Gee whiz, welcome to the party, buddy. Welcome to the party. Let's go back up here. Hubert says the Broncos. Ed says I took the Broncos by 2. Ben says this game has got Dazmate. Oh, stop it, don't. No, if you say Dazmate's name, he's going to start coming in here telling us that they're going to win the comp, guaranteed. You know, like the first thing that he was saying was it was getting a bit of Shannon Sharp going, you know. He was getting a little bit of Shannon Sharp going. Oh, my dearie me. You know, he's unbelievable, that bloke. Doggies by 18, James Pete says. I don't think it's a wrong thought process to have. It's a very difficult game to read, though. Bronx just made team changes. What do they do? Robbo says, evening Siraj, evening Muppet. So what was the team changes? What's the team changes here? Pikura to the back row. Is that all we're talking about? I thought there was going to be like drastic changes. The Broncos just made team changes. All they did was put Pikura into the back row. Outside, like, it was just Jordan Ricky not playing in the back row. What do you mean team changes? This is the same team that was basically lined up on Tuesday. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, buddy? Adam Smart with the $10 dude. The Nation says, please, for God, let the Broncos win so we don't have to listen to Dasma anymore. See, this is a difficult thing, right? A lot of people don't like the Broncos. Firstly, thank you for very, very much for your donation, Adam Smart. Always appreciated. But also, secondly, it's like, Broncos aren't exactly a well-liked team, but the Bulldogs have really pushed themselves up there with the fan base, kind of what happens with their fan base. So it's like, it's kind of a catch-22 tonight. If you want the Broncos to win, then you got to deal with the Broncos fans. But you want the Dogs to win, you know, you've got to deal with that your team is dog shit and they're never going to win a comp and it's just the Dogs who are going to go undefeated for the rest of eternity. That's kind of how their thought process is. So it's a bit of a lose-lose situation in regards to the fan base. But with that being said, if you're talking specifically fan bases, the Dogs is probably a more difficult one to do. But I'm guaranteeing you, I tell you this now, if the Tigers ever get to the stage where the Dogs are at right now, they will be very, very similar. Just not aggressive in regards to like game day and whatnot. But Tigers fans are very much, look at the streams. Look at the way the streams are. They're not even good yet, and they already give me grief for putting them in last before the season started when they've won 3 spoons in a row, and it's like they're nowhere near ready yet. I just say they're developing. You know, they've got years, and yet it's like everyone is enemy number one. It's like, no, we're just realistically looking at your team from a neutral perspective and trying to say to you, like, sure, you are on the right track to avoiding where you've been, but you're not there yet. Just because we're saying you're not there yet does not mean that we don't like your team. And that's the point. The Tigers fans are very... yeah, they're very interesting. Shit weather here in Brisbane. Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah. Scott Wood says giddy up the doggies. Well, what do you mean giddy up doggies? Giddy up is the Broncos. What do you mean? We are preying on the Bulldogs' downfall, Blissy says. Dear me. Seth Wright says Jordan Ricky out, Brennan in, and Tyson out. Yeah, but that's not like anything to write home about, really. It's like, it's not really... I was expecting you to talk about like a dramatic change or something like that. Bad day for the NRL, unacceptable accepting that putrid team. Oh yeah, no, I'm not a fan of North Sydney Bears, but I don't really talk about them because, man. Desmate says Cap is just scared of Jacob Preston's right shoulder. Brenton says, is the Dogs reneging on signing Sexton or just waiting a little bit before they do? If not, what other clubs could you see him signing for? Maybe Raiders now that Fogarty said it to some with Manly. He's staying at the Dogs. Ben says, that's unfortunate. Hope Jordan has a quick recovery. Scott Wood says, Latu to the Dogs next year. Great signing. Latu? Oh, you don't know, to be fair. Like, you're basing that off of potential. Are you talking about the Dragons one? It's like, yeah, sure. It's Sione Latu or whatever, yeah? I'm sure that you haven't actually watched him necessarily play, but you're just basing it off of the potential that people talk about and whatnot, which is fine, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. But as he says, day before public holiday, it'll be close to sold out. Yeah, absolutely. It should be a very big crowd today. Why not says happy birthday, Bulldogs for life. Well, my birthday's not till next Sunday, so but thank you very much a week in advance. Livy says I finished work at 6:15. Wouldn't have got there in time. Yeah, Thursday and Friday games are always going to be relatively difficult to get there immediately if you've got the a job that finishes at 5-6 o'clock kind of deal. Robert says I'll be at Magic Round. I'll back the Titans for you. Yeah, you damn well better, Robert. Yeah, you damn well better. Who are the Dragons playing this year? I don't think you played last year, did you? I don't think you got a game last year. Who has the bye this year for Magic Round? So it is, the bye is Manly. I'll actually probably take it, to be fair. So the Dragons, oh, you play the Tigers. Oh. How exciting. Actually, didn't you play the Tigers 2 years ago there? I swear you did. And I think the Dragons won 18-12 or something. It was like a really, really dead game. But it's funny that I think you played them a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Brenton says the Knights Wires game is in Christchurch as well, not their proper home game ground. By the way, I know I'm very far behind in regards to the chat, guys. Bear with me. There's still like 20 minutes to go until the game starts, so that's why I don't mind kind of going through the chat. But the Knights Wires game is in Christchurch as well, not their proper home game ground. Hopefully an upset like our Anzac jerseys too. Yeah, the Knights can't score to save their life right now, so the only thing they're scoring is consolation tries. Like, Knights celebrating last week saying they scored 14 points is interesting, considering that most of those tries came when, again, the queue was in the rack from the Sharks, which is exactly when they scored against the Titans and exactly when they scored against the Tigers in the 77th and the 80th minute, and they didn't score against the Dogs. So, it's great to bump up those statistics, but that's all that's doing. And that's not me having a go at the Knights or you, Brent, at all. That's just me saying, like, all that's doing is bumping up the statistics of how many points you've scored, but if you actually watch the games, you know they're not scoring in crucial times. They're not scoring in times where they're actually making it a competitive game. They're only scoring in the last 3 to 5 minutes of a game. The Tigers was the literal 80th minute. The Titans was the 77th minute when they were down 26-0. And Tigers was 20-0. And then the last week, it's like the game was already over. So it's like, Knights celebrating that is a really kind of bold strategy because it doesn't really do anything. It's not really doing anything that they're scoring that late. Besides like a ego boost, I guess. Not in a bad way, ego boost, but it's just kind of like, there's not much point to actually kind of scoring those consolation tries. Clayton says, it's been raining here solid all day. It should be a battle to hold the ball up front. It must be really bad weather. It doesn't look like it's raining really, really bad. But, like, I trust you guys' word. Like, I'm in Udaipur, so I'm not going to argue with you guys about the weather in Brisbane, Vegas. Bulldogs says, who are you going for tonight? I couldn't care less. I stream the games, bro. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm a Titans fan at the end of the day. Like, this weekend, I'm looking towards the middle to end of the table. Like, I couldn't care less who wins this game. I enjoy rugby league. I'm passionate about the sport. Sione says, tipping the Broncos for a win. Seth Ryder says, good to see Perth Bears. Nah, screw the Bears. Scott Wood says, magic round at Perth would be a winner in future. I don't think as many people would travel all the way over to Perth for it, but are you sure? They did take like a nines there once, and the crowd wasn't as good as you would expect. So it's a long way to go, Perth. It is a long way to go. Dasman says we are winning the comp, and there we go. And Louis says no, we like it in Brisbane. I will disagree with Scott there and say that I think Magic Round should absolutely stay in Brisbane. I think that the New Zealand should get what was it? There was something that got brought up, like a nines or something like that. No, I can't remember. There was something that got brought up that New Zealand should get. Sydney has all of rugby league. You have 9 teams plus the grand final. So it's like argue with a wall if you're a Sydney fan trying to say that you should have Magic Round because you get Magic Round pretty much every weekend. And Perth sure would be a little bit of a fun experience, but I just can't see that many people having the money to take everything all the way 5.5 hours away. Like Europe, you can go from Italy to Spain in way less of that time, or you can go from England to bloody damn well, Serbia in less time. But in Australia, it's a long way to go. But like, I guess I can understand what you're trying to talk about. Ben says, I saw a video of some Dogs fans standing on a car after their win against South. They were partying hard. Yeah, that's light work. Bulldogs fans, they riot the streets when they win a random round two game against a Titans team. Like, it just says, bro, some people might get unalived in the streets of Belmore. Okay, well, let's not say this. That's not cool. People get unalived in the streets of Belmore if Doggies lose the grand final this year. That's not even banter. Like, come on, bro. Andrew says Tigers fans are jarring. Adam Smart says my uncle. I get what he's saying, Isha, but like, no, that's too far to kind of joke about. Adam Smart says my uncle's worse than Dad's mate. Unfortunately, I'll have 50 voice messages during this game how they're going to win it. All bloody Dogs fans. Yeah, you should see my Instagram, mate. You should see my Instagram after the Dogs win. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, obviously, Titans is when I get the most messages, whether they're from Titans fans or non-Titans fans. But Bulldogs fans is also quite ridiculous. Brocky Sports, hello, Mr. Streamer. Hello, Mr. Brocky. Hello, Mr. Brocky. Charlie says, happy Anzac footy weekend. Party peoples, lest we forget, you mean. Jack Kirkland says, how your trip going so far? Yeah, no, it's good. I love Udaipur. Delhi wasn't really my vibe. It was too busy. Like, Delhi has 34 million people in Delhi, the city alone. We have 26 million as a country in Australia. So it was very hectic. Agra was very different, but also hectic. And then Jaipur was very hectic, but not as hectic. So it was 3 million compared to 34 million or whatever it was. But Udaipur is my vibe, dude. I've just been extending. I was meant to be here for 3 or 4 days. I've been here for like a week, and I'm going to stay until Monday. So it's good. I love it here. Like, Jaipur was good. Don't get me wrong. Jaipur was probably the better of the 3 of the Golden Triangle. But I would recommend a lot of travellers to not necessarily go to the Golden Triangle if you're coming to India. Jack Kirkland says, I literally read that comment just then. Olivia, you better be singing the national anthem. What? Oh, yeah, there is Australian national anthem and New Zealand anthem every game this weekend, isn't there? Yeah, there is, because it's Anzac weekend. So every single game you will have the national anthem played, ladies and gentlemen. He will. Scott Wood says we will remember them. Jack Kirkland says, so is PNG going to be a team? Yes, 2028. That's already been confirmed. But then again, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, that is under the Albanese government. If Albanese doesn't win, am I completely certain that Peter Dutton won't come in and say, screw that plan and not go with Papua New Guinea, which would create a whole scene, man. If you're changing governments before it even comes in, there's no guarantee that the other government's going to go ahead with that. There just isn't. Do I think that Dutton probably keeps it? I don't know. I'm not getting into the politics of it all, but it does relate directly to the rugby league. In Papua New Guinea meant to come in 2028. It's not. If the government does change, well, we could be in for a bit of a sticky situation. Robert says Muppet Dogs 40 plus against the Titans. Muppet. Did you hear about the asteroid shower in Brisbane? No, mate. Adam Smart says already had 3 and game hasn't even started. Oh no, what's happened? What are we talking about? Ben, what did Ben say? 3 what? Let me out of Shaggy Zoink's reaction. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. You're off your rocker. You are off your rocker. Nate J says, no Walsh, the Broncos are half a chance now. I do actually think this could nearly... Well, I don't rate Selwyn Cobbo as a fullback, though. I think that Selwyn Cobbo was great coming through at the Wynnum Manly Seagulls and whatnot as a fullback, but I just don't necessarily think that he is a fullback when in the NRL. I really just don't. So, sure, but I don't know. I just really don't necessarily believe in him at fullback. But it says Magic Round should go to Shark... No, we're not going to Shark Park. Shark Park has 11,000 as a capacity, so I don't think that Shark Park is necessarily where the places that we're thinking to go. No, we're not going to Shark Park. No, 11,000 people. I don't think so. I really don't think so on that one. I think we're going to pass on that one, Blissy. Yeah. I ain't travelling to PNG. Shit goes down there every day. I used to have this thought process. I will tell you that travelling wakes you up to understand that it is all not bullshit, but there is a lot of bullshit about misconceptions and stereotypes that a country has, specifically this country. There is a lot of bad shit that happens here in India, but there's also a lot of stereotypes that are completely and utterly incorrect about this country. So I would say the same thing about Papua New Guinea. Fiji has an incredible reputation, but I can tell you there is definitely bad shit that goes on there. So, stereotypes are stereotypes. Acidic says, how is India? Is it stressful at all walking over main roads for 50? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, not here. Udaipur was great. Jaipur and Delhi and whatnot, it takes a bit to learn how to cross the road, yeah. Highlander says, Warriors never win on Anzac Day. Yep. Yeah, no, we said that. Yeah, no, I agree. James Spell, as the Titans fan, no. James P says, wouldn't be surprised if the Titans beat the Bulldogs 19-18. Hey, that was a result that we had in 2012 against them. The year that they ended up making the grand final against the Melbourne Storm. The last game of the season was actually at Skill Park. Was that Skill Park still in 2012? I can't remember. It was around then that it changed. But Seabar Skill Park, we were down 18-0, and the Dogs were first place at the time, and we actually came back to win 19-18. So hopefully that's the same next week. Shark Park has unbeatable grass. Definitely has beatable grass. Definitely a lot of beatable grass there. 10 minutes to go until the game starts, by the way, guys. 10 minutes to go. Hit that like button, subscribe. 10 minutes to go until the game does get underway. 10 minutes to go. Dasman says, I'm assuming the Muppet Drop Bears will be having the same history as North Sydney. Those Muppets are legit rejoining on a 105-year premiership drought. What idiots. Yeah, no, we're always including it. No matter what negative thought process you can have towards the North Sydney Bears, I'm very okay with it. 11,000 is a great crowd. Thank you, Andrew. That's a very Parramatta thing for you to say. Blissy says, we'll be as smooth as something smooth even in the last game. I don't even know what you're talking about. Ford Sports Speak says, go the Broncos. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. You're going to need a lot to win today's game. You're going to win a lot to need a lot to win today's game. Who you got for first try? First try in this game, I'm actually probably going to lean with a lot of the so far this season, we have been seeing the Broncos preventing for 20 minutes. So I'm going to lean towards the Broncos for first try here because they have been and the Dogs have been the best defensive team in the comp. Actually, I'll go read this in a second. But I'm probably going to lean with the Bronx to score first. Doesn't mean I necessarily think they win, but I'm gonna say it's Katoni. I'm gonna go Katoni Stags. I think Katoni Stags the Bronx because the Bronx do usually hold out quite well, but then kind of falter between the 20th and the 60th minute mark. So that's where I'll kind of go with it and say that they score early, but maybe the Dogs still kind of win, but the Bronx score early whilst they're just preventing. But then again, they don't have much. They don't usually get much ball in the first 20. They really don't. But like attacking wise, 156 points for the Dogs this year, which is behind the Storm 206, the Raiders 198, the Broncos 198, the Sharks 169. They're behind the Dolphins 164. They're also behind Manly 184. They're behind the Tigers on 160. They're not too far ahead of the Titans there as well. They're behind the Panthers 172. And yeah, their attack is still not that unreal. It's better than it has been in previous years, especially last year, but it's still not that unreal. It's just their defense that is incredible. With their only 58 points against them, which pretty much 50 points was in their first 3 rounds. They conceded, I think, 50 points in their first 3 rounds. So since round 3, so in the next 3 rounds, they've conceded like 8 points, which is crazy because they conceded 0 last week. They also conceded 0 the week before that, and I think they must have only conceded 8. Yeah, if I go back and have a look. So the last 3 weeks defensively has been incredible. But yeah, the first couple of rounds, their defense wasn't great, and it just went bang. 20 points to the Dragons, 24 points to the Titans, and then 8 points to the Eels. So they've actually only conceded 6 points since then. They've actually only conceded 6 points. 6 points since that first 3 rounds. Sharks, 20-6. Bulldogs 20-0 over the Knights, and then 32-0 against the Rabbitohs. So yeah, obviously that includes a bye in between. It includes a bye in between, but you have to talk about it. You do. You have to talk about it. J Down Under says, why is Bro in India? Because Bro actually likes to enjoy traveling and not listening to stereotypes, because Bro isn't racist and doesn't think that just because, certain people have a viewpoint and perspective on countries that they have absolutely no idea about, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to travel there just because people say that. And I've enjoyed my time here. There's also a lot of bad stuff here, but it's just such a negative and miniature mindset that most people have, where they think, oh, the news tells me this, and a very minuscule amount of people who actually haven't even been to the country tell me this, so that means that it's very, very bad. It's like there are bad things that happen, but it's a very small mindset to have that I'm not going to travel to this country just because of what that bullshit says. But I can tell you right now, stereotypes here are completely different. And I'm going Thailand next and Vietnam next as well. But it just annoys me when you get comments like that. It annoys me because people have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Like, this guy has absolutely no idea. You have been in India? I guarantee you haven't. You're just listening to the dribble that people like, with the toxicity that every single country has its incredibly negative values. And I guarantee you that a lot of the stereotypes that you do say are completely incorrect about here. But also some stereotypes will be correct. But as he says, with that logic, it's watching paint dry. Who are we talking about? Billy Walters' first try scorer. Good luck. Yeah, maybe. But then again, you're only saying that because he's an ex-Tiger. WNBA is where it's at. Andrew nearly just has a timeout for that. David says, good evening, Blaze. Good evening, David. Olivia says, why are you not in India? Exactly right. That's a great question, Olivia. That's a fantastic question. It's a fantastic question. It's been raining on and off today in Brisbane. We spoke about the rain before. He's in the city of Okay. It's just so annoying, right? Like, people just don't get it. Like, this bloke probably lives in some rural town in Australia and thinks that he has, like, a worldview and an understanding, like a better understanding than people who've been there. Like, truly. Like, it astounds me the lack of knowledge people have about things, and they're very confident and strong about their beliefs in said thing they don't know about, like, truly. That's why you bite back at comments like that. You're just like stupid. 4 Sports Pick says first try scorer is Shibasaki, number 4. Well, I didn't look at Shibasaki, but I'm probably going to lean with Stags, but it's going to be difficult, man. This has the potential to be a very defensive game overall, but it also has the potential to open up as well. I'd actually lean more so towards the defensive side of things because the Broncos can be a good defense. Let's have a look at the Broncos defense. Broncos defense is 144, so that's worse than the Dogs, obviously. It's only 8 worse than the Storm. It's 8 better than the Raiders. It's also 8 worse than the Warriors on 136. It's a little bit behind the Sharks, quite a bit behind the Dragons. It's better than the Rabbitohs. It's not as good as the Dolphins 136, but then again, the Broncos have beat the Dolphins. Like, this has the potential to be a low scorer too. It really does. It has the potential to be kind of anything this game. That's why it's so difficult to predict this game. Torman says, go the Dogs. Blitz says, I just realised I'm having a conversation with Andrew. I don't know who's got the worst end of the stick in that conversation. Isha says, a lot of people talk down on India, but I'd still love to travel there. I don't care what anyone says. I'd love to travel anywhere aside from that one island with an uncontacted tribe on it. You're talking about North Sentinel Island out near, not Sri Lanka, the Andaman Islands. What I would say is that people think that India is just one country, right? And everyone here is just the same. This country is so diverse. Like, it is the north. It is so different to the west, which is so different to the central, and the individual places like cities and whatnot are so different to each other within Rajasthan and within up in the north of Kashmir, which there's actually been there was a terrorist attack recently in Kashmir like 2 days ago, which was unfortunate. That's very north, but we're not really allowed to go there as foreigners. Like, the northeast is completely different. The south is so different. Like, people have no idea. This is the thing, right? People don't know this thing, and I didn't know this until I came here. But people are so strong in their belief that, India's dirty, India's poor, and it's just bad. And it's like, there are places where you'll find that, for sure. But there is also a lot of places that are completely opposite to that. So that's why you bite back at it. Jack says, I reckon Toby Sexton is going to get the first try. Good luck with that. Toast doesn't score that many tries, does he? If he does, that'll be great. David says, I also live in Mountie. In fact, all my life. What stereotype you wait, whoa. Mountie. Oh, well, Nate J actually lives. He's from out Mount Druitt as well. Pretty certain. Yeah, Nate is. Yeah. So Nate J says, Andrew, I live in Mount Druitt. The stereotype is true. I think the stereotype that he's referring to is like, and again, this is from someone who hasn't been to Mount Druitt, but this is just from what we hear. And again, you guys live there, so you'd be able to dispel this, yeah. And people who've been there, you'd be able to dispel this, but it does have a bad reputation for, like, I guess, safety and stuff like that, and it's like a little bit more dodgy, is what I would say. But when you travel like across the world, you understand that everywhere in Australia is not that bad. It truly isn't that bad. Also, Jay, I haven't seen your Facebook message yet, but I've seen you've messaged me. I've just been a little bit flat out these last couple of days, so I will get to it. Don't worry. Can't wait for the China and North Korea vlogs. Australia's a bad place. Look at Mount Druitt, Andrew says. Again, there's a lot worse places than anywhere. You think of the worst place in Australia, it wouldn't even come in the top 1,000 worst places in this world, bro. Truly. But it says, would you like to go to the toilets in Sydney Central Station? What's going on? Wow, it is a good crowd, man. It is a good crowd. So they're doing the Anzac ceremony now. There's 5 minutes to go into, well, there's probably 10 minutes to go into the game kicks off, actually, because they will have these Anzac ceremonies. But it says, Nathan, Jay, I'm sorry to hear. There you go. I've seen my couch. I know everything. Exactly right. That people do have that thought. I know you're taking the piss, but a lot of people do. Arthur's goal, Lenny says. Arthur's not going to... Arthur's goal? He won't be converting. It'll be Renault, won't it? It'll be Renault. You talking about try time, you're probably thinking it's football. This is not like soccer football. This is rugby league. So there's no... Jesse Arthur's not be kicking a conversion, but try time, sure. It's hard, though. The Bulldogs are a good defensive team. They really are. W. Speed says India got some banging food. Does W. Speed? Does. But it's also, you've got to be super careful with where you eat and whatnot. But you can kind of tell, man. Like, you can tell if something's prepared bad or the restaurant's poor, and you can tell when it's good and whatnot, man. Like, it's a lot of it's gentrified. Like, Udaipur is very gentrified too. But yeah, there is some absolutely amazing food. So the Bulldogs and the Broncos are walking out into the field right now. Blaze, if you went to the Sentinel Island, at least they have Diet Coke. There's Diet Coke in India, bro. There's just not really Coke Zero or Pepsi Max. They have Diet Coke. Also, what's the joke you're making there? I'm trying to figure out with the reference of Diet Coke and North Sentinel Island. I don't know what joke you're making, but there's something there that I'm missing. Dasmate says, I reckon I could go to North Sentinel Island and make them all Dogs fans. They would kill you, Dasmate. they'll take your jersey and they'll use it as bonfire and they'll kill you. That's what happens that's what happens at North Sentinel, man. David says Australia's bad. Australia is one of the safest countries in the world in comparison to the rest of the world. The fact that women can walk by themselves at night here, sort of, sure. They'll have a different view to you, but what I was saying is Australia isn't bad. I'm saying it's the complete opposite. It's not bad at all. I agree with you. For example, it's a controversial conversation to go down, though. David says, Richmond vs Melbourne in the AFL. I want to vomit just seeing those two logos on my screen. Damn, that's a battle of the dribblers. I take Richmond. I take Richmond to win it, but that is a battle of the dribblers. Lismore is pretty bad. It's just not, though. For Australia, sure, but it's just not. Like, bro... David says, most of that is perpetuated by the media. I agree. I've been to 32 countries. Mounties as safe as houses in comparison. So, David, you get it when you travel, but a lot of people haven't travelled. So, if you're, say, from the perspective, again, they're doing the ceremony here, guys. So, we'll get to commentating when the game starts in a bit. But we come from the perspective of we've kind of seen a lot worse. While you've got to understand that there is a perspective from people who may have never lived outside of Mount Druitt, or never lived outside of Sydney, or never lived outside of the east coast of Australia. So for us, that is kind of bad on that context, but it's not bad in the worldly context. Severide says, love northern Pakistan if you have a chance. Great place to visit. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Dazmate, you're not talking Kashmir, are you? Dazmate says, shame we didn't have an Anzac jersey. It's a 90 years jersey or some shit. Better than when the Tigers used an American soldier as their Anzac jersey a couple of years ago. Lenny Manor says, Broncos all the way. Yeah, good luck. Ben says, never Diet Coke, always Coke Zero. I agree, but in India, they don't really have Coke Zero here. No, haven't been to Sri Lanka yet, David. I haven't done India yet, but would definitely recommend Sri Lanka. Absolutely hidden gem of a country. Well, I'm in a hostel right now in like a private room, and there's a few people who have been to Sri Lanka, and they do say it's a very hidden gem. But it is growing. Sri Lanka is growing in regards to its tourist reputation. Sorry. There was a bloke who went to North Sentinel Island recently, snuck onto the island and left a Diet Coke. Did he really, Jay? Is that true? He's in jail now, I think. He's in the shit big time. Yeah, absolutely. Deservedly so. Diet Coke? Why? You risk your life to go to North Sentinel Island to drop off Diet Coke? Why? Why? Right, it's a bit rude, mate, not being quiet for the 1 minute silence. You are quite literally watching a live stream on YouTube. I am going to watch every single game this week, like we always do. So at one point on Anzac Day, I will do the minute silence for sure. But I'm not going to be doing the minute of silence for all 8 games this weekend because it makes absolutely no sense to do that. The reason why they do this is because these people are going to one game for the weekend, right? You are watching a YouTube stream, so please wake up to yourself. Please go grab a coffee or a beer and just relax on the couch, mate, and let me do this and you do your part over there, right? So shush, and we'll get into the game. Surfrider says, waiting for some idiots to yell during the silence. Nah, if you're there and you yell out, you should be kicked out immediately. You really should be. Isha says, imagine dropping off rugby league jerseys on the shore of North Sentinel Island, then flying back over months later to see some tribesman shooting arrows at you wearing a Cronulla jersey. Yeah, exactly right. Now we're talking. That'd be great promotion for a team. Someone do it with the Titans. Someone get a Titans jersey over there. Brandon says, did you hear that Muppet ref Kennedy got stood down? Did he really? Liam Kennedy? Who is it? Kennedy? I'm not sure. I already heard someone yell up the doggies. Well, we're not at the minute silence yet. We're obviously at the we're not at the minute silence yet. That's usually the worst part. But some crowds are good. Some crowds are good. It's just the bigger the crowd, the more risk you have. And it says, why not, Blaze? I need you to be silent. All right, I'm going to have a drink then. Riley's having 5 minutes silence. Yeah, Riley, you did deserve that, to be fair, man. Imagine, like, coming to a YouTube live stream and expecting just silence. That's a great live stream. It's a fantastic live stream. I think for the Warriors versus... Not Warriors. The Storm Rabbitohs game. The night game on the Friday is usually kind of like when we'd do a minute silence and whatnot. Sammy says, up the doggies. Paul Maxey says, if I hope Brisbane lose, does it make me a bad person or just normal? Normal. Yeah. Yeah, normal. No, very agreeable there, mate. Very, very agreeable. Never seen more agreeable in my life, actually, to be fair. We got a drunk stream before GTA 6. It's hard to. There's no really drinking culture over here, man. There isn't. It really isn't. There really isn't. Gujarat, where I'm going next, is actually just a dry state, which means you can't purchase alcohol there. Lucky Sam ain't here, Riley. Sam would do ya big time. Is that a VB? A VB? It was a Sprite. I thought it'd be Roosters vs Dragons game that I'm attending this year. Oh, you're going to the game tomorrow? Shot stream, mate. Shot. That's going down the spicy curry route like we did the other week, or spicy chips. All right. I just hope that no one yells out here. Yeah, so just a reminder for everybody, this weekend on all games, it'll be about 10 to 15 minutes later than the start time. So this game was meant to start at 7:50 p.m. local time. It's now 7:55 p.m. It probably won't start for another 5 to 10 minutes. Probably won't start for... I'd probably say on the upper end of 6-7 minutes kind of deal. What about a short stream? I don't even know what a short stream is. David says, Freddie and Johns have to be the two of the biggest dribblers in sports commentary history. Listening to Channel 9 is an absolute punish sometimes, but I'm $25 a month to KO is extortion, in my opinion. So for me in India, I have to pay $40 a month, 40 Australian, but then again, I am watching it from India, of all places, right? So when you're international and you're not in New Zealand, the islands, the Pacific and whatnot, Papua New Guinea and then Australia, you have to pay for Watch NRL. I could watch it for free, but that's like 30 seconds to a minute behind, which would mean that my commentary would be behind you guys. I actually, funnily enough, a lot of people in the chat, they are behind me, and I'm all the way in India. Ibrahim with the dollar donation. Get around you, Ibrahim. You're a legend, son. Thank you very much, my guy. Enters my brother got me tickets. Typical Eels fan. No, not Kashmir. Google pictures of northern Pakistan. You understand my questionable face, though, considering the situation in northern Pakistan and northern India right now. Because if you're a fan of northern Pakistan, you probably know what's happened up there. Olivia says, you haven't listened to my voice message yet. Yeah, no, I haven't yet, Olivia. Like I said to Jay before, I have actually seen that it's there. But it's, I've been busy. I think I messaged you yesterday or something like that. I've been quite busy, so I will check it out and whatnot. Don't worry. I just haven't gotten around to it just yet. Avoid Kashmir. No, I know, Jay. You've heard what happened yesterday or the day before. That was wild, man. That's crazy scenes. So the Anzac ceremony is finito. We are about to get underway here for kickoff, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. Get your predictions in the chat right now. Get your predictions in. Fire it up. Teddy says it's going to be a banger. I hope so. I really do. I hope so. Nay says that bloke that replaced the Rabbits is the worst of all. I'll take Freddie and Johns over that Muppet. I kind of clock in and out of the commentary. This crowd isn't actually as good as I would have expected. Like that would be the western side, is not that full comparatively. Maybe about 35-40. But all right, the game has been kicked off and the Dogs will get the ball to the 30 on first tackle to Maxi King. It's extortion listening to Brandy. Someone was there. What? There was white noise, but nothing distinct. What did someone say? I can't even see someone's comment. And the Dogs will drop the ball, and the Broncos will get the ball at 10 here. The literal first set of the game, the Dogs will knock the ball on, which is very unlike them. And it'll be Broncos ball. Deary me. Lollies dropped everywhere, son. Unfortunately, Jacob Preston, from a quick short pass there from Toby Sexton, will knock the ball on. Now the Broncos get their first attacking opportunity of the game. Andrew says, I went and got butter chicken from my local Indian takeaway shop for dinner. Good man. Gotta love butter chicken, but chicken tikka masala here in Udaipur is, oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. But the Broncos, Simon Cobbo, 10 metres away here from the line. See, Daz, he got ahead of Jay. Unbelievable from that Jay bloke. He still doesn't understand how to do his job. Really, you got to teach him. You just got to start to teach the guy. It actually hasn't even started yet, man, so do forgive. All right, so third tackle here at the 10. It'll probably update any moment now. It'll update itself. All right, so third tackle for the Broncos. They're 5 metres away from the line. And the Broncos are going to score straight away. Straight away, Xavier Willison will score the first try of the game. Right near the post to the left. It's going to be 4-0 with the kick to come to the Broncos. 4-0 here with a kick to come to the Broncos. The Bulldogs Getting a little bit of a, what are you doing? You started off with the ball, drop the ball, and they will score immediately. The Broncos, so it's 4-0 with a kick to come. Uh-oh. So Adam Reynolds, that's bad defense too. Like Xavier Willison shouldn't be scoring there. Reed Marty misses the tackle. He just goes really easily through and scores right next to the post. So it's about to be 6-0 any moment now. Ibrahim says praying with the Broncos right here. CJT Donny says, is it raining Brisbane? It doesn't look like it's raining. People in the chat have been telling me it's been raining like hard and whatnot, CJ, but it doesn't look like it's raining at all right now. King Koa says it's going to be like 24-16. I can see that. The Dogs are a very good defensive team, but then again, that wasn't good defense just then. So you would have expected like a 16-14 kind of game, especially with the Broncos having a half-decent defense. But that is not a good start for the Doggy Wolf Wolves. Robert says to see if the Broncos do a bit better in the wet this week. It doesn't look as wet as people are making out though, Robert. I know you're in Brisbane, so again, I trust your word for in Brisbane. And she said it doesn't look as wet. Shikar said, like your shirt, mate? Yeah, nice. I got it in Nagra. Man, near the Taj, which was awesome. Ah, I know who this is. Get around him, the big fella. I know who this is. 6-0 here with 37 minutes to go in the first half. Someone says brick wall defense holding up well. Oh, damn, gets into him early. They had eyes on Hunt, but Wilson did a sneaky roo. A sneaky roo? Sneaky roo? What? Lee says shit defense from the Dogs that we haven't seen this year, really. I disagree. So the first 3 weeks we did. For the first 3 weeks we did, they conceded 50 points in the first couple of weeks. So the Titans, they conceded 24 points too. Then there was also no, not the Sharks. Yeah, so the Dragons, they gave up 20 points to. The Titans, they gave up 24 points to. And then 8 and 6 to the Eels and the Sharks isn't too bad. But the first couple of weeks, they were shaky. You know, we were having major concerns about where the Dogs were at defensively in the first couple of weeks. And then in recent weeks, they were 0-0 and like 6 and 8, right? So their defense has been sharp as shit outside of that. But the first 2 weeks were very dodgy. So third tackle now for the Broncos at the 30. I did say the Broncos, I thought would get first try. Cost them 50 rupee, cold hard cash. 50 rupee, I wish. I got this for 50 rupee. A bit expensive for 50 rupees, I'd have to say. Oh, yeah, you reckon? Or 40-20! Is that a 40-20 for the Bronx? It is! Billy Walters with a 40-20. Dogs, have you turned up here, Dogs? Have you turned up here, Bulldogs? Because that's a great 40-20 there from Billy Walters. That is a phenomenal 40-20. And the Dogs have not even woken up. The Broncos kick the ball to the Dogs. They knock the ball on third tackle. The Broncos score. The Broncos get the ball back off the kickoff, up 6-0. And Billy Walters, of all players, just go on and kick to a 40-20. And the Broncos are on the attack again. Someone member for 35 months. CC Eagles table a 3-year offer for Jamal Fogarty. Probably. That was English bad. Your English was bad. Second tackle now for the Broncos. But thank you very much for your 35 months. So Billy Walters now, he'll go out to the right side, 10 metres out. Payne Haas, he's 5 metres away from the line, third tackle. What is a 40-20? When you kick it from within your 40 and the ball goes out past the 20, you get the ball back. So out to the left, Xavier Willison now. He's 7 metres away from the line, fourth tackle, 5 minutes into the game here. 6-0 to the Broncos. Billy Walters gives it to Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds, he goes straight into the line, and there's a knock-on. That's a penalty. That's an accidental offside. There should be an accidental offside against the Broncos here. There should be an accidental offside here against the Broncos. And there you go. Make a mistake. Make this mistake. Ibrahim said, I tuned in last week only to get disappointed by Walsh's horrible kick and golden point. Ibrahim, that was, look, from a neutral, it was quite funny. But for Broncos fans, obviously not so much funny. Realistically, that should have been classed as an accidental offside, but it's not. They've just called it as knock-on. Olivia says, I almost didn't recognise him with his facial hair. My God. Who are you talking about, Olivia? Who are we talking about? And penalty. There are so many scrum penalties, dude. There are so many penalties that come off the back of offside off the scrum. Make it, take it rules. Very good. Yeah, so there is also... I don't even know if these still exist here. I don't know if it still happens, but 2040. I asked the chat, is that still a thing? We don't see teams take it, but is it still 2040 as well? If you kick it within your 20, it goes out past the 40 that you get the ball back. I just don't think that a lot of players take that chance for obvious reasons. But I still feel like that rule surely would exist. The drums are quiet at the moment. They wouldn't have taken the Lebanese drums up to the Suncorp. All right, so Reynolds now to Villiamy kick out, and it'll be third tackle over the Bulldogs at the 35. The commentary even said it was an accidental offside. Well, yeah, it was. It was an accidental. They didn't call that, though. Typical W, one hand, because I broke the other. You're off your rocker. Lest the Dogs forgot to turn up. Well, it's still only 6-0 in the first 7 minutes. They go to the left. Toby Sexton. Sexton now to... Oh, I just realised... At half time, I had to charge my phone. It's like nearly dead. Reed Marnie off to Toby Sexton at the 20. Kicks this ball down into the in-goal. Not a good kick at all. And that's going to be a 7-tackle 7 for the Broncos. That was awful. Jesse Arthur's very quick here. Very quick. They're all on side for the Broncos. And the Dogs, they just run it straight through. Noah says, yes, still a thing. A lot of Super League teams do it. Yeah, but not... just because Super League doesn't mean that necessarily we do it. But we haven't seen it. Oh, penalty the Broncos. Penalty the Broncos here at the 30 on their own side of the field. They're starting off well here, the Bronx, and the Dogs are starting off very, very slow. Couldn't really name a good thing the Dogs have done so far in this opening 8 minutes. But it's just that NRL teams, you obviously don't see them try to take that opportunity of the 20 to 40. I think so, but never really a situation to use it. Yeah, I don't think there is. I agree that there's no real situation to use it. It's a very risky play. Very risky play. You think the Dogs can go all the way with Sexton at 7? It's a hard question for me to answer because Toby's a friend of mine. But I still... I need to see the Dogs win games like this. And this is what I said beforehand. Like, if the Dogs win this game, small or big, I'll be impressed and I'll be confident this Dogs team can go a long way. Not maybe necessarily all the way, but a long way. I'll be a lot more convinced of them if they can win this game. 4 tackle for the Broncos. They're 13 metres away here from the line. So, Toby's not had a good start here. He's had a bad pass to Jacob Preston, which was a knock-on, which led to the try. Payne Haas, offload out of Reynolds. Try top of the Broncos. Under the post. It's 10-0 with a kick to come. It's about to be 12-0 moment now. Oh, no. Reynolds is injured. Oh, no. Reynolds is injured here, and he is grabbing. He is screaming. It's his shoulder. God bless him, man. God bless him. So you score a try, Broncos, but at what cost? You score a try, but at what cost here? Payne Haas with a great run, great offload, and Reynolds scores under the post. Deary me, son, deary me. So 10 minutes in here, guys. Broncos about to lead 12-0. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Dogs. They have not turned up so far. And this is why we say be very, very careful about going and thinking that anyone has their shit together this year. Anyone. But there's a long way to go of winning this game. There is a long, long way to go of winning this game. Pickle Ricks is the only reason the Dogs are undefeated is because they've been playing bottom dwellers. That's cool, but the Broncos have also lost to, multiple teams, which they shouldn't have. The Storm have also lost to the Dragons and the Dolphins, who hadn't won a game for the first 4 rounds. The Raiders actually have the similar kind of thought process to the Dogs in the way that they've beaten 3 top 8 teams this year. So the Dogs fans, they keep saying, but we've beaten 3 top 8 teams this year, right? That's what their argument is in response to that we haven't played anybody. And the Raiders actually have too. They have played and beaten the Warriors in Vegas. The Raiders have also beaten the Rabbits and Dragons, is it? Anyway, point of the matter is that the Raiders have the same kind of argument. But there's no guaranteed teams this year, man. Like, it's starting to pour down rain again now, guys. It's starting to rain now. You can clearly see this. Selwyn Cobbo is taking the kicking tonight. Oh, he has to because Reynolds is injured. Sorry, that's my bad. Bronx are losing players left and right centre. Isha says this is where Bronx would need an in-form Ezra Mam. Shouldn't even be playing, but sure. Our season's over if it's an ACL. It's not an ACL, it's a shoulder. But he looks like he's okay. But he was writhing in pain, man, when he scored. Adam Reynolds was the one who scored, lost in time. Adam Reynolds scored. How many 20-40s have been kicked since the rule came in? I only remember 1. Maybe 1, maybe 2. But there's definitely been 1, but maybe 2 at max, yeah. Why isn't Stags kicking? I don't know. It's interesting to see Selwyn Cobbo kicking of all players. David says, some good money to be had at the tap if you believe the Bunnies can win first time at Amy Park. I'm not betting on the Rabbitohs. There is no way I'm tipping the Rabbitohs, and there's no way I'm betting on the Rabbitohs. Dogs, have you turned up here today? Because it's a penalty to the Broncos 15 minutes out. Have the Dogs woken up to play today? Because right now this is a very embarrassing start. They have knocked the ball on off of second tackle on their own line. There might be a bin here. Oh no, the Dogs might get binned. Josh Curran's getting called out here. And, he off! Get him to the bin. That is ridiculous from Josh Curran. There is no way, not off, but he should be in the bin for sure. He comes in with a shoulder to the head. Damn, this is definitely a bin. This is sensationally bad from the Dogs in his first 11 minutes. No. On report, in the bin. Okay, I just want to make sure they were saying bin, not sent off. Because, he does come in with a solid shoulder, and it didn't look like he was attempting at all. There was a world where there was a bin, but it's too early for that. I'm just throwing that out there. You could make an argument that being a send-off. You could make the argument that that was a send-off from Josh Curran, but Dogs fans, you should be thankful that's only a 10 minutes in the bin. You could genuinely make the argument that he has deliberately thrown his arm up like that with no intent to make a regulation tackle. Olam would have got sent off. You could argue it with Olam. Yeah, for sure. So first tackle here with the Broncos, they're up by a man 13-12. They're up 12-0. It's only been 10 minutes in the game, dude. Lots of times it's the Broncos easy money. Well, they lost to the Warriors last week. Let's not get a little bit too cocky here, champion. Let's not get a little bit too cocky. They lost to the Warriors last week who had no James Fitzgerald, no chance. So let's settle it down in regards to the cockiness and the ego. But it is a penalty here to the Broncos. It is a penalty to the Broncos. The Dogs have not woken up here today at all. Lucas says, wonder if they'll send Haas for a HIA. Well, you should realistically, but they're not. I doubt it. But let's see if the Dogs are still that kind of team that will go because they're losing and they're frustrated. Let's see if they start to get grubby, because that was very bad from Curran. So let's see if they're still that same team or they are able to be disciplined regardless of the fact that it's not going their way right now. And it is, the Broncos are playing well and the Dogs are playing really, really poor. But it's only been 12 minutes. If the Broncos score here, though, it's going to get scary here for Dogs fans because you're undefeated, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Oh, Broncos take it down 10 metres away from the line. Fourth tackle. Tony Staggs. He goes out to the right. 5 metres away. Staggs. Oh, my gosh. He's half a metre short. Fifth tackle here for the Broncos. Fifth tackle. Billy Walters. They're all offside on that side there for the Dogs. Kicks another easy try. It is 16-0 with a kick to come. Dogs fans, this is rough. This is rough. And I'm not making a woof joke here. This is rough. It is 16-0 with a kick to come. It looks like your undefeated streak might be coming to an end tonight. And it looks like that was too easy. There was no one out there, and that's what happens when it's 13-12. But Curran deserved to get binned. The Dogs haven't come to play here today, and the Broncos are running rampant. So the game plan is going well. Haas, dazed, and confused. The game plan going well. You reckon? Game plan going well for the Dogs. And I said, if there's going to be an upset this weekend, it's going to be this game. I did say it. Go back to the start of the stream. Realistically, based off of the results so far this season, you tip the Dogs. But we've also seen upset every single week. It's been an upset season. The Broncos are not necessarily as bad as their record shows, but also Reece Welsh, what are you doing right now? Because they have looked really poor with him at the back, and now they're 16-0 against the best team in the comp the first 14 minutes here. Nate J says Bulldogs are getting pumped. Dude, what's crazy is that they're getting points put past them so easily when they have only conceded 58 points through 6 games. They were at 58 points given up through the first 6 games because they had a bye. In 14 minutes, and Reynolds will get the conversion. It is 18-0. It is 18-0. So now they've gone from 58 to 68 to 76. With just like that. Which is now getting back up towards the hundreds where the Dragons are and all that kind of jazz. So I tell you what, this is a crazy start here. Crazy start. But long way to go. I just don't know if the Dogs are going to be able to come back from 18-0 down at Suncorp. Way too early to call yet. It's 18-0 to the Broncos at Suncorp, dude. Like, do I think the Dogs can come back? Any team can come back, but you'd have to be a very faithful and strong fan in wet weather conditions like this. A man down. Now Marcelo Montoya is on report as well, mind you. That should be a bin as well, realistically, because he's come across and hit him across the head. They haven't called that as a bin, but based off of their ruling and their technical rulings of the high contact, they do call that bin. So I'm surprised that they haven't called that a bin against Marcelo Montoya. Ibrahim says, what's going on? I genuinely thought this game would be a hard watch due to the performance last week from the Broncos. I think we all did, Ibrahim. We all did. I thought this would be a great game. It's still very early, but, you know. And there's a mistake for the Broncos. Here we go. Dogs, here's your chance. Here's your chance. Curran's still in the bin for 6 minutes 20. 14 minutes into the game here. 0 tackle for the Dogs, 8 minutes out. This is what happens in wet weather conditions in regards to the drop ball. If the Dogs win this from here, I give you premiership favourites. If they win from here, I give you premiership favourites. If they can find a way to win this game from here. So 6 again. They give it up here to Viliami Kikau, who's 10 metres away from the line. First tackle, 8 metres out now. Down 18-0. They don't have to score, but you'd really be looking. Oh, no way have they just done that. That's just disgraceful. It's a penalty here to the Dogs based off of a player being tackled without the ball, apparently. But Toby Sexton, what are you doing kicking the ball on second tackle? You are down 18-0, but there's 65 minutes to play. Dude, just go through the motions of the set. Don't kick the ball on second tackle. They had the fullback in play. Watch where the fullback is. That was going straight to fullback, even it went through the defensive line. It made no sense. But anyway, he's lucky there was a play taken out. First tackle over the Dogs, 8 metres out here from the line. Oh, to Toby Sexton and to Viliami Kikau, who's 10 metres away, second tackle. 6 again here for the Dogs. They're getting opportunities. Davo says they don't want to bring the Dogs down to 11 men. Realistically, it should have been based off of consistency. Second tackle here. Third tackle for the Dogs. They're 9 metres away from the line. To be fair, the Eels went down to 11 men just last week. Or this week on Monday. Fourth tackle now for the Dogs. They're 4 metres away from the line. It is pouring down rain right now. Pouring down rain. They give it out to Matt Burton. Burton gives it to Viliami Kikau. Very flat right now. They give it to Bronson Cherry, who's losing metres. He's losing metres and then taken down to the 18. They lost about 5 metres on that play because they just decided to go sideways. And Reid Marnie off to Toby Sexton underneath to Maxi King. Not the play there as well. 10 metres out and fit tackle. We need to see more from you here, Dogs. Reid Marnie, Matt Burton, short play, short ball, Jamin Salmon, and they don't score. They had like 5 to 6 against just then. They also had a penalty, and they still didn't score. Tells you a lot. But what do I say about the Bronx? They know how to defend in the defensive 20. They really do. They did it against the Dolphins. They did it against the Cowboys. They've done it against multiple teams so far this year. And now Matt Burton he's going to have to come off for a HIA. Matt Burton is going to have to come off for a HIA here. This could be disastrous for you, Dogs. This could be disastrous. Because, God bless him, he was all over the shop. He didn't know where he was. Andrew says it's not a bin because the Dogs would go down to 11 and you can't do that to the team that's first. Hey, to be fair to you, well, yeah, they can do that to the team coming 17th though, can't they, Andrew? Negan, appreciate you for joining up as a member, my guy. Appreciate you, man. You can be a Muppet sometimes, but we appreciate you for being a member. Tommy says, Waz and Rays have a strong chance to actually win this year. Absolutely disagree on both of those two teams. Dove says, looked like Burton called that. Burton called what? Tumakamach says, Broncos not going away from this lead. Yeah, no, I don't think that they'll lose this, but Matt Burton comes off for a HIA. Matt Burton comes off for 15-minute stint. To be fair, Andrew, I don't think Iongi should have been binned. I don't think that Isaiah Iongi should have been binned last week, but I also think that Mitchell Moses that should have been binned? But that wasn't when there was already a man off. Was it Mitchell Moses with that try that should have been binned that didn't get called? But Iongi did get binned or something like that. I can't remember. I can't remember. That's a send-off, Cubbo, knee straight at the head. What are you talking about? Third tackle now for the Broncos. They get this ball out to the 28 or so. 3.5 minutes to go here of the bin for Josh Curran. Fourth tackle now to the 40. Luke says, what was your reaction when Dragons won against the Titans round 6? Well, we lost, mate. What do you think? What do you think? I celebrate? You think I go celebrate with beers and whatnot? Who gives a fuck what happened about the Titans and Dragons in round 6? So the Broncos now, they're going to get the ball here at the 30. They flick it out. Oh, no way. It's 6 again because it was charged down. First tackle here for the Broncos at the 25. They get off to Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds out to the left-hand side now to Selwyn Cobbo. Selwyn Cobbo. Oh, it's a try for the Broncos. Gamma Shimasaki's 22-0 with a kid to come. Oh, it's 22-0 with a kid to come. The Bulldogs are getting run red, but the Broncos are slapping them right now. This is crazy. This is actually insanity. Just a reminder, contextually, the Dogs have not lost a game so far this season. The Dogs have not lost a game so far this season. The Broncos are coming off the back of losing to the Warriors with no Fisher Harris, no Chance Newell-Klokstad, no Rocco Berry. Plays out left, right, and centre. The Broncos went over there and lost to that team. And yet, right now, they're up at home 22-0 with a kick to come with 62 minutes to go here in this game. This is insane. This is the season so far. How good is this rugby league season? There's upsets galore. It's ridiculous. You nearly want to tip the Knights against the Warriors tomorrow because that is the complete opposite result of what you would expect. You know, you nearly want to... Roosters Dragons actually kind of a bit of a mix-up there, to be fair. But Storm Rabbitohs, like... I don't think the Rabbitohs win that one. I'm not going the upset there, dude. I'm not doing it. I don't have the guts. I don't have the balls, man. I don't have the balls to tip the Rabbits in an upset there. They've never won in Melbourne, ever. They really haven't. If Broncos don't at least win 75-0, we riot. This is absolutely wild to be saying this. Olivia says, so sad I'm not there now. Nah, don't get FOMO. Look at me. I went to every single game of the Titans for the last 3-4 years, and I've been to like 98% of Titans home games since 2010. Like, I enjoy watching it at home too, watching it here with you guys and whatnot. So I don't have that FOMO. But Adam Reynolds from the sideline will say 24-0. He hits the conversion, and Curran's still in the bin, mind you. Still in the bin. Curran is still in the bin. Broncos 24-0 in the first 18 minutes. They are beating the clock. You see the clock? Ding dong, ding dong. It is not a good time for the doggy at the Sandkop. Luke, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I can understand that you're trying to get a reaction about the Titans. I don't care about the Titans until Saturday, mate. Like, we're not here to watch the Titans, so please just move on from whatever troll that you're trying to do, man, because you're not going to get the reaction that you want. So the Broncos now are going to get this ball to Payne Haas, and he'll bring this out to the 12 or so. Current's still got a minute 22 to go here of the man in the bin. Olivia says, you didn't tell us you had a girlfriend? Jessica says, I love you. Yeah, get her out, Jessica. Lucas says, I don't think you can get FOMO with the way the Titans are playing at the moment. No, I disagree, mate. They're still, they're still my family. They're still community, right? I don't like a lot of the corporates in the club, but like at the end of the day, like the fans and the community is what I support this club for. Someone says that trainer came on to look at Burton should have taken him off. Ridiculous. Well, he did go off for the HIA. He did. Billy Walter stays up here. 4th tackle here at the 45, and the Payne Haas, he gets the offload away. It's Selwyn Cobbo, and Selwyn Cobbo is going to be at the halfway point, 5th tackle. 20 minutes gone. Again, only 20 minutes gone. Still 20 minutes to go the first half, 60 minutes to go the game. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. We'll be live for every single game this weekend. And the Bulldogs might get taken in goal here. Oh, geez, Stags nearly got him, but it'll be 2 minutes out. Contrace, he gets to. Jessica, do you know someone named Andrew? Oh, geez, you got to be careful of that Andrew bloke. Got to be real careful of that Andrew bloke. The odds of the tab are paying over $5 to the bunnies. Oh, it's a knock-on from the rabbit. It's knock-on for the dogs, is it? Oh, it's gone backwards, luckily. It's gone backwards, luckily. Dude, the Broncos are absolutely destroying the dogs right now. It's 4th tackle, and they're only 9 minutes out from their own line. The dogs have not come to play today. And if you're a Storm fan, you should be thankful because this is helping the points differential battle between you two. They go out to the right, and Jacob Kiraz, don't go over the sideline, don't go over the sideline, don't go over the sideline. He's over the sideline. Well done, Bronx. Well done, Broncos. That's unbelievable defense. They've taken him over the sideline. So it's going to be Broncos ball at the 30. They are absolutely crushing this game. You could be a Broncos hater, and you have to respect what they're doing right now. Seb Watson says, that trainer that came on to look at... Oh, I've already read that comment. Remember, no team that has conceded 50 points... time him out! No, someone's getting timed out. You know... Moderators, you know what he's referring to. It's not 30 yet. It's not 30 yet. Someone, we'll see in 5 minutes, buddy. We'll see in 5 minutes, champion. We'll see in 5 minutes, champion. Is this game fraud alert worthy? If the Broncos score now, fraud alert is going over here. And I'm sorry, Daz. You know I love you. You know we love you. But we've got to be fair. If the Broncos score on this set and they're up 30-0 with like 15 minutes to go in the first half, I've got to put the fraud alert sign up. So second tackle now. Broncos at the ball at 25. They get up to Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt, nearly crunched by a section, but it'll be 20 metres away. 20 metres away. Don't be a girl, Billy, and run the ball. David says, I'd rather spoon my eyes out with a plastic sport than put money in the bunnies without them playing right now. They've never won at Amy Park, ever. But then again, knowing how the season's gone so far, did the bunnies. Broncos, I think that goes over the sideline, surely. No, yeah, it does. It does. So it stays 24-0 here, and it will be a Dogs ball at the 25. So far it says, the Bulldogs lose, can the Storm go to... No. The Dogs are up by 4 points. Dogs are on 14. Storm, Raiders, and Warriors are all on 10. The Storm play the Rabbitohs, the Raiders play the Dolphins, and the Warriors play the Knights. So all three... That Dolphins-Raiders game is going to be interesting, actually, because the Dolphins have been in some great form. And the Raiders are obviously in third, but there's still a lot of concerns there. But the Warriors will be favourites against the Knights, and the Storm are very much favourites against the Rabbitohs, so it'll mean that they'll only be up by 2 rather than 4. Alright, so the Bulldogs now, third tackle at the 40 on their own side of the field. Imagine that dressing shed at half time. They're going to be like, what the fuck just happened? Going to be the greatest comeback ever, just wait. 40-20 attempt here by the Dogs. Ooh, will not go to the corner though. So, Selwyn Cobbo grabs his ball at the 10. Yeah, Cobbo has actually been pretty good today. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big fan of Cobbo as a fullback, but today he's been pretty solid at the back. He's been pretty solid at the back. Jesse Albers gets away from one tackle and he'll be taken down to 20 on second tackle. 6 from 7 sets for the Doggies to 10-13 for the Broncos. Yep. The Broncos now at the 30 will be third tackle. David says, after showing last week, there is no way Storm lose this week. I agree. Bellamy would have been absolutely punishing them after giving up a 16-2 lead versus the Finns. Rabbits are going to get absolutely belted. Sure, I agree. I can also tell that you don't like the Rabbitohs through your comments, but also I don't think that the Storm lose based on the fact they've never lost to the Rabbitohs. They are a better team in regards to paper. They have got better results this year. Yes, they've struggled in a couple of games, but 40-20 attempt here by the Bronx, and the Dogs will grab the ball here at the 15. There is a lot of factors that go in favour of the Storm. So, yeah, sure, like I will say that the Storm win, but based off of how the season's going so far, I'm just throwing it out there. There is no guarantees at all. It's the most open season I've ever seen in the NRL. After 7 rounds, this is now round 8, I have never seen a more open season than what we are watching right now. So, Stephen Crichton now, he's going to get this ball, third tackle to the 30. But you know what, Dogs fans? What makes this worse for you is that it's pouring down rain, which is going to make it even harder for you to come back. Like, even harder. It's bucketing rain right now. This happened to the Sharkies last year versus the Panthers. This happens every year to the Sharkies this year. Come on. This happened. I remember the game, 42-0, was it? 42-0? But the Sharks always have that 1 or 2 games like this, yeah. And trust me, I want the Sharks to do well for my mum. You know, don't get it twisted. Like, I want the Sharks. Oh, it's a 7-tackle set for the Bronx. Oh my gosh, Dogs, your kicking game tonight has been atrocious. Yeah, no parades in Bankstown tonight, probably, Tommy. You know, we'll see though. We'll see. Yeah, Tobes hasn't been having a good game here. It's pelting down. And you know what's crazy is that when you see, it's a penalty to the Bronx. When you can see the rain on this angle and these TV cameras, it means it is bucketing down. Because it can be raining and you won't see it. Because the angle and the way the cameras are. But if you can see it, it's bad. And we can not only see it, but it is absolutely pelting down on the screen. Which means it is just drenched. So good luck here. Teddy said, I think it's raining. I think you might be wrong, mate. I think you might be wrong. I think it's a cyclone. So first tackle now for the Broncos at the 40. Imagine being a Dogs fan flying all the way up from Sydney. You'd have to surely stay for Magic Round next weekend. Surely if you flew up from Sydney for this Dogs game, you would have to be staying for the next week and a bit. But the hardest thing is this is on Thursday, and then it's next week, Sunday, when the Titans play the Dogs at Suncorp. Third tackle now for the Broncos at the 20. 14 minutes to go in the first half. Love this as a Titans fan. Dogs are going to have to try and reassert dominance next week. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable, isn't it, lads? Unbelievable as a Titans fan. Fit tackle over the Broncos. 3 metres out. 3 metres out. Billy Walters kicks it through. Oh, it's touched from Carraz. It's a dropout. Yeah, good call. It's going to be a dropout here from the Dogs to the Broncos. Robbo says, man, what are the Dogs doing? They're not doing. The answer to your question, Mr. Robbo, is they're not doing. They are not doing. Yeah, we were top of the table on a good win streak coming off of wins versus Storm and Chooks, and we hit a brick wall versus Penrith. I know, I remember. I remember that game. That was a great kick there from the Broncos too. So it's a big dropout there from the Dogs, and Paddy Carrigan's going to bring it out here to the 35. Right, since Williamson has been really good tonight so far. You mean Willison? Xavier Willison. Not Zion Williamson. Xavier Willison. But yeah. Yeah, well, the Broncos have been good, man. Yeah, this has been a mixture of Dogs bad, Broncos good. Not just like Dogs bad, Broncos okay, or, you know, it's been a mixture of both. So Billy Walters then off to Corey Jensen, 10 metres away from the line, 13 minutes left the first half. And now Billy Walters is going to go out to the right-hand side too. Paynas! He'll get the offload away to Reynolds. Kicks the ball over the top. Here's another try coming over the Bronx. It is 28-0. Do-do-do. 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 Do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Fraud alert, fraud alert, fraud alert. It is 28 with the kick to come. Massive, massive fraud alert right now. You got to do it. You got to be fair. And right now, I'm telling you, this is bad. This is bad, my friend. So 28-0 with the kick to come to the Broncos. 12 minutes to go the first half. Magic Round Field is going to be destroyed. No, it won't be. It'll be fine next week. People say this every year, bro. Like, it rains throughout the weekend, it's still fine on Sunday. Bennett has yet to win a game against Bellamy. Nah, bullshit. Bullshit. Wayne Bennett has never won a game against Bellamy. Nah. I don't believe that. I'm not going to give you a certain specific moment, but I guarantee that's incorrect. If that's correct, that's the wildest statement I've ever heard in my life, but I don't believe it. Lisa says, watching you from the Cook Islands. I'm a Broncos fan. Thanks to this. Much love. Go the boys. Woohoo. I'm here for every game, Lisa. Appreciate you for tuning in. Meow, 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 meow. That's Hectic Fred's thing. That's Fareed's thing. Get around him. Bennett has lost the last 13 games. He simpsons the post. Hits the post, so it stays 28-0. 11 minutes ago. Olivia says, we are targeting that lesser a lot. Must have done our homework. Yeah, it just seems like that whole side, the right-hand side of the Broncos is doing well, and the Bulldogs in total just aren't doing well at all. Yeah, Wayne Bennett beat Bellamy in the 2006 grand final. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, Broncos versus the Storm, absolutely. Absolutely, they won 15-6, the Broncos. 15-6? Yeah, I think so. Since 2016, yeah. See, I knew it. I knew it wasn't possible. I just, like, while I'm commentating and whatnot, it's very difficult to scroll through every game that Wayne Bennett has been coaching against Bellamy. But since 2016, sure. So the Rabbitohs, while he was there, never beat him. That's interesting. I can understand the Broncos. Broncos have always had a tough run against the Storm. I can understand the Dolphins too. Third tackle now for the Broncos at the 30. 10 minutes to go to the first half. If you guys hit that like button and subscribe. We're live for every game this weekend. Walnut Hill says, what's going on with the Dogs? They'll tell you they needed this loss. I guarantee you. They will tell you that they needed this loss. And also, don't let Broncos fans, Dogs fans, don't let Broncos fans come in saying, we even won without Reece Walsh. They've been shitting on that man for weeks and weeks, so ignore that. 40-20 by the Broncos. Oh, Dogs are getting blown to pieces right now. Oh my gosh. Robert says, have the Broncos put on more points than the Dogs have let in all season? 58 was how much the Dogs had let in all season before this game. 58. So they're at 28. So they're 30 points away from it, yeah. And they might get above 30 right now, which would bring out the potential of a certain comment So Broncos here, 2 metres away. That's his 17th career 40-20 there for Adam Reynolds. He was not held up over the line there, Sutton. Get a grip. So Corey Jensen will roll this ball back at the 10. Reynolds going off. Everyone for the Broncos going off. Paddy Carrigan now, 7 metres away, second tackle. It seems like Michael Maguire, he just headbutted everyone who came into the sheds after that Warriors game last week and just woke them all up. Third tackle now at the 10. My twin didn't even try to get the ball. They're in all sorts right now. Go for a field goal, Broncos. Go for a field goal. Streets won't forget this 28-0 comeback. Hey, Daz, I'll back it. And you know why I'll back a 28-0 comeback, because that'll take the biggest comeback of all time off a certain team. So, fifth tackle, Billy Walters to Adam Reynolds, 10 metres out, kicks it through for himself, kind of tripped up, but it's going to be a drop out. It's still just, it's a drop out. It's not a bin or anything like that. Gee whiz, another 40-20. Reed Marnie will start to get real cut as soon as start playing dirty. Don't disagree. Oh, Broncos will get the ball at the 35. Adam Reynolds, good pickup. And gives it off to Paddy Carrigan, who'll get this ball out to the 30. Black armbands tomorrow. Oh, by the way, a lot of people were asking about the black armbands for the Titans last week. The reason why was because, unfortunately, a part of our PDRL team, there was a lad that lost his life, which was quite sad. So they all had black armbands. They're away. They're going to score again. Jesse Arthurs. 32-0 with a kick to come. 32-0 with a kick to come. No team has ever conceded 50. Well, Adam Smart, you getting timed out for sure. Like you're Adam Smart. You can't put that. It's not a 50 bomb yet. So it's like Adam Smart. We'll see in 5 minutes. 50 bomb with a question mark is right from Olivia, but you can't be dropping 50 bomb. Like they're still 28 points away. You can ask about it and talk about it, but you've just like dropped a 50 bomb basically. You're a muppet. So 32-0 with a kick to come. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Olivia says, 50 bomb, come on. Adam Evans says, stop the fight. Hey, Adam, this is insane to me. This is insane, dude. Oh, Daz, mate, I feel for you, bro. I do. I feel for you, man. I feel for you. Hey, at least the Lakers won for you yesterday. Lucas says, Dogs might not be winning a premiership this year. Well, let's not get too crazy now. Like, if the 50 bomb gets dropped, then maybe sure, which you'd assume happens at this point. But also, let's not get crazy in round 8 when they've been undefeated to this point. But, like, this is showing very concerning signs from the Bulldogs. Because this Broncos team, just last week, lost to the Warriors without Fisher Harris, without Charles Nickel-Glogstad, without Rocker Berry, and without the GOAT of all time, Tanner Boyd. There you go. Well, Adam, we can also go and talk about it. Listen, Broncos fans, you settle down. I'll start going to you guys soon too. But it must have been jet lag last week. Yeah, I just don't know what happened there. And Reynolds will curl. Oh, you can't go much wrong, can you? 34-0 with a kick to come. So, who was the other team the Broncos lost to this year? Oh, the Raiders, that's right. Yeah, the Raiders. And the Roosters, yeah. Like, this is just crazy, Dogs. The Broncos have lost 2 straight games coming into this game. They also conceded 24 points to the Tigers. You know, like, their last 3 games was not fantastic. They did score 46 points against the Tigers, though, so they're only 12 more points away with 47 minutes to go of the game. They're 12 points away from beating out what they scored against the Tigers. Insane, dude. Blah, blah, blah. Says the Bulldogs going to be the next flat track bullies. Damn. It's hard to say because people are just going to jump and be very reactionary to this game. People will come to this game now and say Broncos are winning the comp and the Bulldogs are coming last. That's just how people do talk. That's how people talk. Like, I'm not going to get reactionary to the game, but it's a bit of fun right now. Lucas says, we backed the clock to get back into the lead at half time. Yeah, it's tied 34-34 right now in regards to the clocks of the Broncos. You got 6 minutes here to try and beat the clock, or to tie it at half time. Oh, no. Oh, there's going to be a bin here for the Dogs. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. There's no wrapping again. Oh no, Marcelo Montoya. Oh jeez. Tupanua's getting binned. Tupanua's getting binned. Oh, Dogs, man. Why do you do this? Why is this club known for doing this when the tough gets going and going gets tough? Direct contact in the bin. Oh no, you're getting 50 put past your Dogs. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have a tough week against the fans. You're gonna have a tough week this week. There's no way you don't have 50 put past you here. If you avoid a 50 bomb, let alone a 60 slammer, I'd nearly be impressed at this point. There's 47 minutes to go. You're down a man for the next 10 minutes, and you're already down 34-0. Lucas, what is the penalty count? It doesn't matter because they have been legit penalties. There's no problem with the referees in this game. Jared Sutton, that was one thing I disagreed with him a little bit earlier when it was just held up over the line. Outside of that, there's not been any problems with his. Like, they've all been the right calls. Might have to make the fraud alert bigger. You settle down. Oh, they're away again, the Broncos. You settle down, Sharks fan over there. You settle down. Second tackle here for the Broncos at the 35. Need to update the score. Oh, has it not updated? No, okay, hold on. Yeah, I got to refresh it. Oh no, Dogs. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. So many ponchos. Yeah, because it's raining. Third tackle here for the Broncos, and it's going to be 20 metres out. Fourth tackle. 13-0 before the half is wild. 34-0, and it's also 6 minutes to go, mate. And that's a forward pass. That's a knock-on. Doesn't matter. It's a Dogs ball now. 0 tackle at 15. Daz wishes it was 13-0. First tackle here for the Dogs at the 25, and they'll get a penalty. Oh, they need that, don't they? It's not wild, Rob. It's the boys' time to shine. It's definitely wild, Lisa. This is definitely wild. The Broncos have lost 2 straight games. The Dogs have not lost a game this season, and they're down 34-0. The Broncos are 24 points more away from scoring more in this one game than the Dogs have through the first 6 games of their season. The Dogs conceded 58 points across their first 6 games, and then obviously the bye. The Broncos have scored 34 here, so they're 24 points away from tying that up. Damien has started rough, that's it. No, there's a lot of issues with this right now. David says, everything okay, Daz, mate? Blaze, you might want to give Daz a welfare call and check on our mate. Daz, you knew this was coming, bro. You knew the chat would go at you when something like this happened. Third tackle, and they go out to the right. It's Josh Curran, and they're 20 metres away even the line. See, Damien, I've got to disagree with you heavily there, man. Like, that's a very cop-out kind of comment. I'm not trying to, have a go at you. It's a very cop-out comment to say started rough, that's it. That's it. It's only because they started rough, that's why they're down 34-0. It's not even half-time yet, and the game is over. Right? So, if you're just looking at this as started rough, and that's the only problem with this game, there is a significant issue here. Everything okay? Okay. You do, you. Brent says, Daz is taking a poo break. It's a long one. Blaze says, it's because Chris Butler isn't reffing. I know it doesn't affect the end result, but I will push that narrative till I die. Okay. Started rough. There was just a sin bin. Yeah, I don't know kind of what else to say, Rice, if they believe that this is just a rough start. Like this shouldn't be a score the Dogs should be conceding across the whole game. And that's gonna be Broncos in the end goal. At least there'll be a dropout here, Dogs. Shut up, Stephen Crichton. What are you getting into it for? You're down 34 to fucking 0, Stephen Crichton. Settle it down. What are you doing, Stephen? Stop embarrassing yourself and get back. Get back on your side of the field, moron. What are you doing, Stephen? You're down 34-0, dude. Settle it down. I love Stephen Crichton. He's the best centre in the game for me. But, shut up, man. Get back. You're getting a dropout. What does this serve? What purpose does this serve? You just look like a muppet. What are you doing? So that's out in the fall. So it's going to be Dogs ball here at the 10. That's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Why is Critter yelling? I just don't understand. I know you're frustrated. I'm aware of that. I'm aware you're frustrated. But as your captain, and as a leader, and as a guy who knows that this is one game, whatever, it sucks, it's shit, the fans are going to laugh, who gives a shit what the fans say? I know it sucks right now, mate, but you're still top of the table regardless of this. Yes, it's bad, but overall, it's still fine long term as long as you don't concede 50, really. He needs to do better than that because that was embarrassing. So third tackle here for the Dogs. They're 4 metres away from the line. They are still down a man. Sin bin might be turned the other way up. Both of the sin bins have been very rightfully deserved. Both of the sin bins for the Dogs have been rightfully deserved. The first one was arguably even potentially a bin. A send-off, sorry. But it was too early and they wouldn't have done it. So they kick that ball through and the Broncos will let it go. No, Jesse Arthurs will touch it and it will be a dropout coming up for the Broncos to the Dogs. Randy's Rand and Vince's my neighbour's house just got broken into. Apparently his guard dogs forgot how to bark. Well, there you go. Skinnerman says Cobbo is such a nice bloke as well. Sure. Not really anything to do with anything, though. This is still 40 at the end of the day. Brenton says, okay, random comment roundies. Yeah, that was... I think he's trying to make it like a joke at the Dogs with the no bark, whatever. Oh, no. Luckily it goes backwards there from the Dogs. Tupanua still has 5 minutes left in the bin, so at least the Dogs are holding the ball right now, which means, like, as long as they've got the ball, then probably not going to concede. So that's a positive right this very second. Gorman says, Bulldogs were always pretenders. It's just a weird year when no one is good and they happen to be at the top of the pile of shit. That's a very interesting take, Gorman. I don't think you're fully right, but I also can understand where you're coming from. Oh, no, there might be a bin here. Like, I understand what you're saying, Gorman. Don't get me wrong. I think you're over the top in how bad that you're trying to assume the Dogs are. But I also am like, yeah, no team has been guaranteed this year. And I've been saying this every game, pretty much. So, second tackle here for the Dogs at the 20. They go to the right-hand side of Toby Sexton. Toby Sexton at the back of the Con Tracy. Matty Burton taken down 7 metres away from the line. Third tackle. That was good defense because it was a good run there from Matty Burton. DVD says, what's up with the fraud alert? Well, one team's down by 34 points to 0 right now, and not even half time, and they're currently undefeated, so riddle me that. Out of the right, Jacob Kiraz. Kiraz still going, and he'll be taken down. Second tackle with the 6 again. 8 metres away here from the line. And they've lost the ball. They lost the ball, so the Broncos will have 37 seconds with a man advantage. Well, there's still 5 minutes or 4 minutes after this into the second half, but there's 31 seconds they've got left here. I don't think they do much with it, but you've got the man advantage. You may as well throw the ball around. That's not the play, Gehima Shibasaki. Out to Gosevsky, who's 40 metres away, second tackle. 17 seconds left here. I don't think the Broncos are even trying to score right now. And they go out to the left. Oh, good hit. 10 seconds left now. Third tackle at the halfway point. I'd say rough, but I may be barking up the wrong tree. I don't know what's happening in the chat right now. Half time. Be very grateful it's half time, Dogs fans. Be very, very, very grateful right now. Be very, very grateful right now, my friends. Be super, duper, uber, duper grateful. Halftime 34-0, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. We are going to sit here and we're going to go through some statistics. We're going to go through some statistics from that first half and we're going to enjoy them. We're going to see how it's all going. We're going to see how it's all unfolding here. It's not good unfolding if you are a Dogs fan. To go over the try scored, Xavier Willison, Adam Reynolds, Dean Mariner, Gehimachi Basaki, Dean Mariner, and Chance Arthurs have all scored. Adam Reynolds is 5 from 6 on conversions. The Dogs have had 2 bins, and both of them have been absolutely bins. One of them was even debatably a send-off, but it was never happening that early in the game. In regards to the possession so far, it's been 63% to the Broncos, 37% to the Dogs. There hasn't been bad refereeing decisions in this game. The referee has been completely fine. 13 minutes and 33 seconds time of possession for the Bronx, 8 minutes and 54 for the Dogs. Completion rate is actually pretty good for the Dogs. 81%, 13 from 16 is not bad. And the Broncos are only just a little bit better with 20 from 24 with 83%. So they've had 8 more sets than the Dogs, but it's pretty much the same amount of completion rate, which is not a bad stat there for the Dogs. All runs. The Dogs had less than 50 runs in that first half. 48 runs. They were their own worst enemies. 95 runs to the Broncos. 800 run meters for the Broncos to 350 for the Dogs. 251 post-contact for the Broncos. 138 for the Dogs. Line breaks was 4-0 to the Bronx. Tackle breaks was absolutely gigantic. It's 17-2. 17 tackle breaks to 2. But have a look at this. So when I say average set distance, you're going to have to take away a lot because it's wet weather. So I would say in these kind of conditions, 40 plus is like 50 plus. 40 plus average set distance is incredible. 35 to 40 would be very good. 30 to 35 is like solid, like that's what you'd expect. 25 to 30 is not good. Anything under 25 is, I wouldn't even spit on it. The Broncos are at 34.95 meters per set on average, which is on the very high end of like a, that's what you would expect kind of deal in these wet weather conditions. They're now at 35.25 updated. The Dogs, on the other hand, are 22.66. 22.66. They are averaging 22 meters per set, which is not good at all, even in wet weather. Average play the ball speed, 3.91 for the Dogs, 3.46 for the Broncos. That's incredibly slow for the Dogs, but in wet weather, you would expect a 3.91 kind of area. 3.55 is very fast in this weather. That is very, very fast in that weather. It just says, just set the Dogs into the page and their fans complain about the refs and the sim bins. Well, they have no idea what they're talking about. They really don't. If they that's cope. That's absolute cope. Both bins have been absolutely legitimate, and they're lucky the first one wasn't a send-off, to be completely honest with you. Offload 7-0 to the Broncos so far. The kicks, kick defusal 60% for the Bulldogs, 40% for the Broncos. It's not actually bad in wet weather conditions. It's at 60%. Wow. Broncos defense has been, this is the best defense you've seen all year. Out of every game in the season so far, this is the best defense you've seen. 88% on defensive effective tackle percentage is usually like a decent enough. Like, you'll get by with it. It's not unbelievable, but it's good. 90% is great. Anything above like 91, 92% is phenomenal. The Bulldogs have 206 tackles made with 17 missed tackles and 9 ineffective. 88.79%. So you're not complaining about it. Even though they're down 34-0, you're not actually complaining about the effective tackle percentage. The Broncos are at 98.33%. That's nearly 100%. They've had 118 tackles made for only 2 missed and no ineffective tackles. They've been quite perfect on defense. That's as perfect as nearly you can possibly be. Only 2 missed tackles in the entire first half and no ineffective is incredible. 4 to 3 errors. The Broncos have actually made more errors than the Bulldogs in this game. Penalties conceded is 5-5. So there's no Dogs fans that should be complaining because, one, I don't disagree with the referee's decisions in any call, but also, two, it's 5-5 in penalties conceded. Ruck infringements, the Broncos have actually given up more. Inside 10 metres, the Broncos have actually given up more. On reports and bins, 4-2 to the Bulldogs, in 4 for the on reports for the Dogs, 0 for the Bronx, 2 sim bins for the Bulldogs, 0 for the Bronx. But there is not a world that any Dogs fan can be legitimately believing that neither of those were bins, because you're lucky the first one wasn't a send-off and the second one was also absolutely a bin from Tupanua. So no one should be complaining about that. You should not be complaining about that. You should be complaining that your team didn't turn up tonight. But you shouldn't be complaining about the officials' decisions, because I can promise you there was nothing wrong with those 2 bins. And you actually got lucky there wasn't a send-off. Last 7 minutes momentum swing thanks to the bunker not binning Burton. Not binning Burton? What did Burton do again? Oh, was that with that high tackle in the in-goal? Yeah, to be fair, the Bulldogs are lucky they didn't have another bin. Yeah, they're very lucky. Lamario's just got to Bronx here. Doing it right now. Doing it right. They're doing all right. Scott Wood says go to... Oh, Scott, come on, man. Like, even as a Titans fan, bro, like, and I'm a passionate Titans fan, no one's coming back from 34-0 down, man. The highest score comeback that has ever happened was 26-0, and the Dolphins actually had scored in the first half. So it was 26-6. And at one point, it was actually 30-0 to the Titans, mind you, but there was a try taken away from the Titans, so it actually got to 30, but then got taken back to 26. 34-0, it's not happening. Your mindset and the Dogs' mindset right now is not, we're going to win this game and come back and win this game. The mindset for the Dogs is, we're going to try and fix the fuck out of our points differential, because this is going to destroy them. 34 points right now. They're on plus 98. They go to 88, 78, 68. 64. So now they're again below the Storm on points differential. But the problem as well is the Broncos will go up to 10 points, which will still be 4 points below the Bulldogs, based off of this scoreline purely. The Broncos go up to 10 points. They go from plus 54 to 64 to 74 to 84 to 88. So now they're above the Dogs points differential-wise, which what I said at the beginning of the stream for the other teams on the bottom, if you have a negative points differential like the Warriors, you're sitting in 4th position, there are so many teams below you, inclusive of teams that are third last. The Panthers have a plus points, or close enough to a plus points differential. So the point is that if you have a negative and you're in 4th, you are vulnerable because those teams below you are so close. If they get one win and you get one loss, they jump you like that. So the Dogs are on the top of the table, and regardless of how this second half goes and how much they lose by, they are still first. But then you've got the Storm, the Rays, and the Warriors who will be up there in regards to points differential. Not the Warriors necessarily, but the Rays are plus 46. Again, you've gone down to plus 64. So you're now only 18 points differential better than the Raiders. Right? The Broncos are above you. You're coming back down to where the Sharks are. You're coming back down to where the Dragons are. Not really just yet. But the point is that you're coming right back down. So you've got to make sure that you're not in a vulnerable situation like this. Because now, if the Storm win tomorrow against the Rabbitohs, they have a chance to, well, they'll be down by 2. No, let's not use tomorrow. They'll win tomorrow. Next week, I want to see the games. So the Dogs have to beat the Titans next week. You have to. Because the Storm, they will play in round 9 at Magic Round against the Raiders. That's actually a good game. It's a good game. It's the same day as well. But if the Titans were to get a miraculous win, which I'm not expecting, the Titans get a miraculous win, the Storm win that game against the Raiders, you go down to second despite being 4 points up before this round started. So that tells you a lot about how the season is. David says, let's hope the boys come out with the same hunger second half and absolutely put the hurt on the Dogs. We have a tendency with the blowout score to just switch off. Yeah, no, I agree with it. It's not you. It's not the Broncos. It's pretty much everybody, really. Angus Force, is this a warning shot? Oh, stop it, Angus. They lost to the Warriors and the Roosters last week. Like, let's not pretend like that didn't happen. People are so reactionary. Like, congratulations, it's great for the Broncos right now, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, man. The Broncos still lost to the Warriors last week without Fisher Harris and Nickel Gluckstad and multiple plays. They still lost to the Roosters right now, who were in second last 2 weeks ago. They still gave up 24 points to the Tigers a couple weeks ago. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Be happy with this result right now. The game isn't over just yet. You've won the game. It depends on how much you've won it by, but let's not be going and saying, is this a warning shot to the comp when you just lost to the Warriors? You know, you just lost to the Roosters. You know, and that's not me trying to be disrespectful to the Warriors, but without those players, it is like the Warriors. You know, they had a lot of players out. The Broncos should never have been losing that game with a full-strength team. So, like, a warning shot, maybe if you go and do it again next week and the week after, sure, but you still lost 3 games so far this season. 3. One of the Raiders, one of the Roosters, and one of the Warriors. 3 games. So this is it's a very reactionary take to say, is this a warning shot? No, it shows that the Broncos have the ability to do this, but consistency-wise, we still need to see a lot more from the Broncos. Guys, you've got to try not to be so immediately reactionary. The Dogs are still a good team long-term this season. The Broncos are going to be inconsistent, but they're also on the upper end of the table. That's for sure. The Dogs haven't come into this game well. That's for sure. The Broncos have come into this game. That's great. That's for sure. But last week, it was the complete opposite for both of these teams. Last week still happened. Next week will happen, and this is happening. But you can't just think that now the Broncos are going to win the comp because they're up 34-0 at half-time in round 7. Or round 8, or whatever it is. You know, like, this is... People are so reactionary. Someone says, tell him his team's shit. People are so reactionary, man. But, like, I get it if you're a Broncos fan getting excited, but it's like, I know you can understand where I'm coming from. Paul says, I won't accept you saying this is such a good season. Why would you accept mediocre, low-effort, error-prone plays putting on such a trash display? Do they really deserve to be paid? That is an absolutely horrific take. That is by far the worst take I've ever seen in regards to, especially this season. Like, out of all of 2025, that is the most horrific take I've seen. So you're telling me that you watch rugby league and enjoy rugby league, and you want perfection from every single team and every single player, and every single team should be winning every single game and whatnot? Because that's what you're kind of saying. There is no team who you know is going to win the comp this year. Not like the Panthers of recent years, not like the Storm, not like the Roosters of recent years. There is no team that's guaranteed for shit at the top of the table. We don't know anyone's going to be in the top 4. We don't really know what's happening with the top 8. We don't know who's going to finish bottom of the table. We don't know anything about any of this comp. Everything is so close. You've got a team in third last right now who has a better points differential than the team in fourth position. You've got the Bulldogs who have not lost a game all season to the first 7 rounds, inclusive of a bye, that is currently being beaten 34-0 by a team that's coming off the back of 2 straight losses and is in fifth position and has a points differential of plus 34 but 144 against and 198 for. You're seeing the most incredible upsets, and your choice, your decision making in your brain is that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing that the favourites aren't winning effectively, because that's what you're saying. You're saying that the quality of the competition is not good, but I disagree, because the quality of the competition there is a flat line. So for so many years now, people like you and the fans have all said, we want closer games. We want a more even field. There's 17 teams. There's not enough talent to go around. Well, what are you talking about right now? Because clearly, across the entire 17 teams, there isn't a guaranteed front runner. Because if you thought it was the Dogs, they're currently down 34-0 at half time. So riddle me that. So it is a flat line across the competition in 2025 that is exciting. So that's why it's an absolutely horrific and horrible take from you. Because it's like, sure, is the quality like the Panthers of 2023 or the Storm of 2017 or the Roosters of 2018, the Sharks of 2016? Is it the quality of that so far? Maybe not. But also, that was across an entire season. We've only seen 7, 8. We're not even into halfway through the 8th round. I'm sorry, but every single thing you've just said there, I completely disagree with on a significant level. And it's like, are you actually a rugby league fan? Are you actually a rugby league fan that you enjoy this sport? Because I completely disagree with every word you said in that comment. If you're not excited by rugby league this year, if you're not excited by crazy results and surprise results and teams you never thought would win and teams you never thought would lose, and close games and exciting finishes and extra time last week and extra that even like the Eels Tigers game, everything's exciting right now. What a negative mindset to have. Why would you have that? It makes no sense. So you can enjoy it, and that's your perspective. If you don't enjoy it, then please feel free to not watch the sport, or please feel free to go and watch AFL, or go and watch another sport, because at the end of the day, if you are a rugby league fan, there is no way you aren't enjoying this. My team is in 5th last right now. We've come 4th last 3 years in a row. We haven't won a finals game since 2010, but look, I'm chirping. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying everything about it. So I don't understand how you can have that thought process. I think it's stupid. I do. But it's your perspective, and you're entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion. I just think that that's stupid. Blah Blah says, this year had the premiership favourites had 40 unanswered points put on them last week. This season is so good so far. It's incredible. It's incredible. Paul says, this game seems to already be over. Why bother listening to it anymore if Brisbane scores 2 more times? Then fuck off. Like, you don't have to watch the game, bro. You don't have to. You clearly don't enjoy this sport. You clearly don't like rugby league. It's as simple as that. I'm not forcing you to watch the game. I'm not forcing you to watch my stream. I guarantee you no one in the chat cares if you're watching the game. And I don't think that anybody does care if you're watching the game. If you don't like the sport and you don't find this fascinating, that the Broncos, who are coming off 2 straight losses, are beating the Bulldogs, who have not lost a game so far this season, and bringing the Bulldogs back, and the for and against battle, and everything that's going on right now, if you're not enjoying it, please, for the love of God, go and do something with your life. Please, go to the beach. Go to the bloody movies. Go to a restaurant, mate. Please be free. Be free, because we don't care. If you don't see how fascinating this is, you clearly don't love this sport like you think you do. So we're going to get back into the game now. I'm going to stop replying to this because it's just such a negative mindset, and you're such a buzzjoy. You're just a killjoy massively. So third tackle over the Broncos. We're actually started the second half here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. If Paul keeps going, man, just, like, you're entitled to your opinion, mate, but I just don't give a shit if you think that this is a shit season. I really don't. Because I guarantee that 90% of people who are rugby league fans disagree with you. And it's like, that's our opinion. It's ours compared to yours. You're entitled to have your opinion, but I think it's a stupid opinion, personally. Anyway, fifth tackle over the Broncos. They will kick this ball down to the 25, and it'll be the Dogs bringing it back out. Ryson says, all teams have put up a good fight at one point this season. Absolutely. Absolutely. The Eels are coming off a win. against the Tigers team that a lot of people had a lot more respect for. The Roosters had that surprise win against the Panthers. The Roosters also beat the Broncos recently. The Panthers had a massive win last week that kind of is making people start to think, oh, the Panthers back kind of deal. The Titans had those couple of wins at the beginning part of the season. That's just the bottom five. So yeah, look, there's a long season to go, and yeah, you're going to see a lot of the teams that you expected to kind of come back to the pack down to the bottom, and then also like teams at the top come back and teams in the middle go up. It's exciting. It's such an incredible season so far. It really is. It really is. So it says, why is he mad at you about not liking the game? Because I've insulted his opinion, and it's like if from his perspective, he's like, oh no, well, the game's not quality, and you're basically telling me to go. Like, I can understand why he'd be upset at my wording and whatnot, but I also don't care anymore, man. I don't care. It's like those people, I just don't need that vibe. I want to watch the game. I enjoy the game. You guys enjoy the game. I don't need to sit there and argue why the season so far is great. I don't need to. There's no point to it. If you want to go to another stream, Paul, feel free. Someone says, bye, Paul, get out of your cat. Mitchell says, Eels game got cancelled last week. Did not, Mitchell? No, it did not. Dave Travis says, where do we go from here, man? That's one game. That's where you go. It's one game. It's not great, but it's one game. As Dogs fans and as a Dogs team, you've just got to think of it and say, yeah, shit, this was bad. Like, shit, this was bad. And we can't let this happen again. You play the Titans next week, which you would expect to have an easy win. If you lose that game, there's major concerns for sure. Third tackle over the Dogs at the 45. But you've just got to look at it and say, this is just one game. We'll be right long term. That's all you can do. Because it's happening, but you need to kind of move past it pretty quickly. So the Dogs now will kick this ball into the corner. I do feel like this will be a lot slower of a second half compared to the first. Darryl says, Rugby League is a crazy game this year. Exactly right, Darryl, and that's why I say there's no way you couldn't be enjoying this. There's just no way. There's just no way you couldn't be enjoying this. I'm going to read this comment. So Paul says, I don't accept mediocre, unprepared players who just decide to not show up. Anything wrong with that? What's wrong with that is that you're not at training. What's wrong with that is that you aren't in these players' lives. What's wrong with that is you're not accepting the understanding that both of these teams are professional NRL teams. Both of these teams have the best players across the country and the world. As in, like, they are 34 players in the start of the 17 that are some of the best in the entire world. Even the worst player in rugby league is amazing compared to 99% of people across this world. 99.99999% of people across this world. So your definition of unprepared, I disagree with, because you're not there. You're not on. You're not even at the game. You're not even at the game, and you never probably go to games. You never go to trainings. You're not in these people's lives. So what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. I just heavily disagree with your opinion. But the Bulldogs down here to the left-hand side, that we're taking down to the 25-foot tackle. See, it's not hard to understand that, though. Sione says, you're right. People who don't enjoy rugby league should do something else rather than wasting their time here. Absolutely. It's as simple as that. No one's forcing you to. No one's forcing you, and no one... It's 6 again for the Dogs. 6 again for the Dogs. And it'll be Josh Curran with the ball to 15. He gets away. Still going. So, I think 0 tackle, actually, for the Dogs at the 5. A 0 tackle. And it's a penalty here to the Bulldog Wolf. Go for the 2 Dogs. Go for the 2. Go over the 2. Well done on the 30k. Been here nearly 5 years now watching. Appreciate you, Daniel Bate. Appreciate it, mate. Daz says, let's be honest, the first 10 rounds don't count. What? Shouldn't you want the first 10 rounds to count, Daz? You're still 6-1. You're still 6-1 regardless of this game. Second tackle here for the Dogs. William kick out. Taking down the 5. Third tackle. 5 metres away. Third tackle here for the Dogs. Matt Burton will cut it across. Sexton. And they'll be taken down to the 10 now. I think the most important thing for the Dogs right now is to score at least some points. And not concede 50. To score at least 1 try, not score 50. And they will score a try. So Marcelo Montoya on the wing. It'll be 34-4 here with the kick to come. Jackie Chan says, my dad is raging at the Bulldogs. What should I say to him, BKR? Just say it's one game. It's one game. It's one game, man. So, I think that's important they scored a try. And I think it's important they don't concede 50. And I think for the Broncos, it's important you don't concede 20. I think 20 points is probably a good marker. If you concede 20 in the second half, you'd be disappointed with it. Like, again, the Broncos are not losing this game. It's not happening. Dogs fans, I know you want it to happen, but the Dogs are not winning this game. It's about fixing that points differential. So now instead of 34 points, it's 30 points with a chance of being at 28 points, right? Which is still effectively 5 converted tries here for the Dogs to win, which just simply isn't happening. So it's all about keeping yourselves above the Storm points differential-wise and forcing them to chase rather than them having the position of, attacking your vulnerability as a team with a worse points differential than them. So you've got to be careful about that. So this is why a try here is important, and just don't concede 50. It's not good, David. The bandwagon fans back into hiding for them. Serve Rose will the NRL have enough players and they go to 19 teams? Yes. Yes, they will. Paul won't like it. Paul won't be a fan, but yes, they will. Nate says, Daz, does the first 10 minutes of the second half count, mate? Well, it probably should if you're a Dogs fan, because you'd be up 4-0 with a kick to come. All right, so 5 in from the left-hand side, Stephen Crichton. He will make the kick. So it's 34-6 here with 33 minutes to go here in the game. Paul won't be a fan. I don't know how he'll survive. Paul's allowed his opinion, but I just don't care about someone who thinks that this season hasn't been exciting, because if you think this season hasn't been exciting, then they'll never be more exciting. Like, it'll never be good enough for you. It just won't be. It just simply won't be. Dasmate says, Bulldogs are undefeated in... That's not how you spell undefeated, Daz. In New South Wales. Guess where the grand final is in New South Wales? I think that tells you a lot about the Dogs, though, bro. I think that tells you a lot about the Dogs. And also, fun fact, you play in Queensland again next week, mate. You're playing Queensland again next week. Andrew says, in all that speech, I heard concede 50 and Bulldogs suck. You can listen to what you want to listen to, Andrew. Second tackle here for the Dogs at the 22. Kebab Shops Australia. Jeez, Dogs are confident in the chat. Third tackle now at the 35. What about 2012 and 2014? Reece Walsh, the Perth Bears. Perth Bears, is it actually going to happen? I'm waiting to see it be confirmed. All right, so forward tackle and off to Toby Sexton. He will put his foot over the 40, so it's not going to be a 40-20 attempt here. And that'll be Jesse Arthurs who grabs it, and I might be Dean Mariner actually. Close to high tackle, but it's Dean Mariner taking down at the 13. Jackie says, I said that to him and he said, yeah, we need to have first place to us. Win, lose, or draw their first place. So what's he talking about? If he was a true Dogs fan, he would know that the Dogs were in first place regardless of a loss here. They're up by 4 points. The Storm, the Rays, and the Warriors are on 10 points, and they're on 14 points. So they are in first regardless of this result. It's one game. Guys, this is one game. This is one game. Let's not forget that. It's 34-6 the Broncos. Yes, but there is still 19 more rounds to go of the entire season. And regardless of the result here, the Dogs are still in first. So it's like, come on. Like, if you're a Dogs fan, surely you're not giving up hope that quickly. And the Dogs go out to the right-hand side, and then it's Con Tracy. And Con Tracy taking down to the 40 on first tackle. 30 minutes to go here the game. 30 minutes to go. Hit that like button and subscribe. 30 minutes to go. Don't forget, we've got 3 games tomorrow. I'll be live for the Roosters Dragons. I'll be live for the Warriors Knights. I'll be live for the Rabbitohs and the Melbourne Storm. Third tackle here for the Bulldogs at the 44. Shout out to all the bandwagons that have joined us these last few weeks. Welcome to our world and what we sat through for 8 years. Yeah, there's certain people who've pretended they've been in the kennel for a long time. Yeah, there's certain people who've jumped on the kennel bandwagon. I can tell you right now that there were some people on the kennel, but the kennel died for a long time. The kennel was not big for a long time, man, and now you get certain content creators who are trying to claim that they're in the kennel the entire time. David says there's a tumbleweed currently rolling down Belmore Road as we speak. So, first tackle here for the Broncos, now second at the 15. Daryl says this is the sort of game where the Dogs need to win in the second half so they have confidence going forward. Yeah, sure. They're up 6-0 right now. They just need to not concede 50, and they should be happy they've at least scored. I'll probably go to about 10 to... If they can get to 20 points, it's actually a good second half result. If they can get to 10 points, they'll be happy with it. Brenton says, have you got some rosary for streams tomorrow's plays? Rosemary? What would I... Rosemary? Why? Why? I mean, hummus. Hummus is great. Do you think Sexton would be a little upset the Dogs are in the mix for these available halves? Tobes will sign again with the Dogs. Tobes will be the Dogs. He understands. He's very self-aware. Tobes is very self-aware. Morok says Broncos won't go beyond 34. Sure, but that doesn't mean it's a negative for them. They could win this game 34-6. They could win this game 34-20. They still won this game by absolutely pumping the Dogs in the first half and then putting the coup in the rat. It wouldn't be a great look for them, that's for sure. It wouldn't be a great look if they didn't. If they just allowed the Dogs to completely come back into like a 34-20 kind of game. But and that's gonna be a penalty here to the Broncos. So there's still 29 minutes to go here. At the end of the day, Dogs are not winning this game, but you can't insult this Broncos performance regardless. It just wouldn't be a great look if they didn't finish the job. You wear it on Anzac Day. Yeah, but like I'm in India, dude. Yeah, and also it's poppies. You mean poppies? Oh, damn. Dean Mariner, unfortunately. Hey! He should be sent off here, Tupanua. Tupanua should be sent off the field. That is dog shit from him. Tupanua should be sent off the field here, not Simbin. Staying with report, you're kidding. You're kidding. You're kidding. Suali'i was binned multiple times with that. That should have been a send-off. How is that not even a... That's wild. The first one was bad. That was like Suali'i. The second one... The Dogs are getting dirty as shit here. Do something about it, referee. You're losing control of the game. Tupanua should have been binned for sure. He should have been sent off, especially for the second one with the knee. That's disgraceful. When have they ever called that? Well, for Suali'i, for stuff. Give me 1 second here, guys. I have to go get a phone charger. Sorry, the power's gone out. Give me 1 second here. I don't know if you can still see me, but give me 1 second here. Where's my charger? Sorry guys, just give me 1 second here. I know I'm back on, but the power just went out, so. Let's do this. Oh, jeez, I've got to... Oh, I don't even know if I can do it. Damn. This actually might be quite rough because there's no power for me to charge the phone. So Marcelo Montoya goes to the bin, by the way. Yeah, Nate, Marcelo goes to the bin, so that's for sure. Can you guys just confirm that we're still live? Can you just confirm for me that we're still live right now? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I have to try and refresh it or something like that. All right, so it's gonna be Broncos with the ball here at the 25, at the 20. Sorry. Just confirm for me, guys, please, in the chat that we are still all good. I'm gonna try and refresh it again. Really frustrating this happens though. Pixel guy. Yeah, but is it working though? Like, yeah, okay. Thank you. So third tackle here for the Broncos. They're 10 meters away here from the line. Sorry, guys. I don't know why the power went out. Their power went out. So I have to use my phone internet, but we'll see how long this lasts. Fourth tackle here for the Broncos, and they're 15 meters out. Marcelo Montoya got beaten, so it's 34-6 with 27 minutes to go here of the game. Now, we're all good now. Fifth tackle, 9 meters away. Fifth tackle. They give it out to Adam Reynolds. Reynolds kicks this ball through, and it's going to be a try for the Bronx. Oh, maybe not. Might be a knock on here. It might be a knock on. It might be a knock on here. Yeah, so this is... I'm pretty certain this is going to be a no try, but I'm pretty certain the Bronx will get back because they called 6 again. They called 6 again as well. Oh, no, it's going to be a penalty to the Dogs here. It'll be a penalty to the Dogs. A penalty to the Doggies. We are going to try this again. Hopefully we're back. Crazy that Cameron Smith... Oh, my... Yeah, jeez. The train's been hit. They're going to kick it again. Yeah, they're going to kick it again. Crazy that Cameron Smith on 9 was defending Montoya, saying he couldn't move, but he raised his arm and didn't wrap. Yeah, it has to. It's unfortunate because that was actually a really good kick there from the Dogs too, but he was coming off the field. There's a bloke downstairs who rides an exercise bike to power the hotel. He may have had a gutful. Yeah, it is really frustrating. It's the only negative thing. But outside of that, like, it's not really their fault. All right, so the Broncos will get this ball. So the Dogs will get this ball here to the 40. Can you actually hold on? So I'm going to try something here, guys. I want you to tell me. Still hear me? Like, it's just different audio, yeah? Because I'm going to have to try and charge my phone through the laptop so that we don't die. So that the phone internet doesn't die. So just let me know that we're still good and you can still hear me. I know it's not great audio, but it has to be done so that I can charge the phone. All right, so the Dogs here at the 40, now the 35. It'll be 4 tackled here. 34-6 currently. You might have HYA. Let's just make sure this is charging. There we go. Okay, so that's hopefully charging now. Dogs here out to the right-hand side, and the Broncos nearly got away there, but it's going to be a knock-on first by the... I don't even know what he wants to call here. He's going to say knock-on Dogs first. He's going to say knock-on Dogs. So 25 minutes left here. So much fun. So much fun. So much fun. So challenge unsuccessful. Was that not knocked back from the Dogs just then? I could be wrong, to be fair. But 34-6 here to the Broncos with 25 minutes left here of the game. It's going to be Broncos ball here. A Broncos ball. And they're only 10 metres out from their own line. Yeah, audio's going to come out. So you're going to have to deal with it, brother. You're going to have to deal with it, unfortunately, because I can't put this in because that phone will die. And I have no power right now. It's completely out. All right, so first tackle now for the Broncos. Now second tackle here to the 20. Second tackle at the 20 with 25 minutes to go here of the game. Luckily, it's not like a super close game right now, so it's a complete blowout anyway. 6 minutes left here in the bin for Montoya. Broncos still haven't scored the second half, though. It is still 6-0 to the Dogs in the second half. And now Payne Haas, he'll get this ball here to the 30. It's like a broken record. Guys, I can't do anything. I'm sorry, but I can't do anything about it. I literally can't. Unless if I take my phone out, it will die, and I won't have anything to stream with. So I know it may not be the greatest quality video or in regards to audio, but I cannot literally do anything, guys. I can't do anything about it. So fifth tackle here, and it's going to be Dogs now who grab the ball at the 30, and they'll bring it out to the 35, then to the 40, Brosenseri, and he'll be now at the 43 on first tackle. And now second tackle here for the Dogs at the 45. Painful. I'm even watching the game through like a potato right now. Lucky Paul's in here. I would have timed him out. I would have got rid of him. He'd not only be complaining about the game, he'd be complaining about me. All right, third tackle out to Matt Burton, then to Viliami Kickout, and Viliami Kickout was going to be at the 40 on fourth tackle. Yeah, he would have been gone. To be fair, he's already gone. He's already gone now. And now the Dogs at the 30 on fifth tackle. Like I said, it didn't get much slower. You can tell the Broncos aren't really hungry to kind of go on with the game. And Dogs will actually get the ball off here, and that's going to score. So it's 34-10 with the kid to come. You'll be happy with it. You'll be happy with it. Well, not happy, but you'll be okay that he scored. So 34-10 here with the kid to come. At least you're fixing that points differential, man. That's the main thing right now. You're fixing that points differential. That's all you can be thankful of. Don't let this distract you from the fact the Storm were up 13 plus, then lost by 13 plus to a team that started 0-4 last week. That is correct. That is correct, Daz. That is correct. You are right. You are right. That is correct. No, Olivia, you're fine. It's just a very frustrating situation for me. Ibrahim's better than nothing. Ben says Bulldog. Oh no, it's going to be a knock on. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close if they say that Jacob Kiraz might knock this ball on into Jesse Arthurs before he kind of gathers it.
Paul is absolutely, let's try confirmed. Paul is absolutely livid with your performance right now, and even more missed at India's electricity for being unprepared and his poor performance. You know what? Paul's not exactly wrong. Hey, there's the power. Okay, power's back on. Power's back on. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to switch the internet back. I'm going to put this in so I can actually utilize this microphone, and I can tell Paul to go screw himself. Give me 1 second. I'm going to wait actually for the internet to turn back on. There's only 22 minutes left here anyway. Late Jason's grand final jitters. Broncos look out. And the Dogs will get the kick. So it is 34-12 with 21.5 minutes to go in the game. 21.5 minutes to go. I just got to see if that internet is actually working yet and not just use my phone. Actually, I know what I can do. I can put this on the actual charger. Big fans out there, you all have a great night. Get around your Graham. /Paul.
Ready, son? All right, so is that microphone now better? Let me know in chat if that microphone's better. Little slower on the arm waving there, and it'll be a trippy electro music video. Boost, 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 boost. Thumbs up for the power. Thumbs up, mate. Massive thumbs up power. Thumbs up, massive. Massive thumbs up power. It's like the drink. Thumbs up. It's like the drink, mate. And I can turn this light back on. So it's 34-12 here with just about 20 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for electronic dus in the stream, even though there's no power. Just give me 2 seconds here. Okay, that is on charge. We're Gucci. I feel like a Bulldogs man right now. I feel like a Bulldogs fan right now with nothing going right for me. Boost! 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 That's not moving, by the way. If you think that fraud alert's moving, you're in for a shock. You're in for a massive shock if you think that's the case. All right, so Broncos get the ball at the 25. Oh, that's on mute. Now I'm going to unmute that. There we go. Phoenix Suns Latinas have big buns. I don't know what's happening there with Dad's mate's comment. Second tackle here for the Broncos, and they will be at the 45. All right, so let's see if I can switch this internet across. Connected. All right, tell me how many fingers I'm holding up in the chat. Fit tackle here for the Broncos, and they're 30 meters away here from the line. Tell me how many fingers I'm holding up in the chat, and if you don't tell me, there's going to be a different finger that goes up. Fit tackle now into the corner, and it will be Bulldogs who grab it. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay, and we are good now. Doof on stream. Any boof on game? No boof on game except for Crichton, trying to assert dominance over a guy when he was down 34-0. That was probably the only boof in the doof game. We do love a good doof boof. I can't count. Ibrahim, that sounds very Andrew Backhouse Parramatta of you. That sounds very Andrew Parramatta Backhouse of you. Third tackle here for the Dogs at the 30. Olivia says 6. That's a very... Oh, no. Well, this light's just turned out. Well, there you go. Dogs now at the 45. Feeling there's no biffo. No biffo today, Jay, except for me and the electricity in India. 4 tackle. And Preston at the 40. 5th tackle. They're only down by 22 points here, Dogs fans. So, hey, technically speaking, you come back. It's not happening, but technically it could. At least it just fixes your points differential. Just don't concede 50. That's all you got to care about. Selwyn Cobbo grabs this ball to the 25. But I will say, Sitili Tupanua, he is a dog of a player. He's a dog of a player. He should have been absolutely binned, and that is dog shit what he's just done again. Second tackle here at 35. This is exactly what I thought we'd do, and why Broncos fans need to calm down, talking about premiership contention. Absolute shithouse second half so far, and I called it at half time too. Yeah, they did. But they have put the Kundra out. But at the end of the day, you still dominated the Dogs when it counted. You know what I'm saying? Not to be rude or anything, but am I the only one who thinks Sexton isn't the guy or the halfback to take the Doggies to a premiership? Sure, but this isn't This isn't Toby Sexton's fault for this game. It's not Toby Sexton fault that they conceded 32 or 34, sorry, in the first half. But I think Toby's had a great season outside of this game. He hasn't had a great game, but who has had a good game for the Dogs? And that's a great kick there from Reynolds and a good chase here. He's going in goal. He can't Tracy. He's getting taken in goal. Well done. It's a good kick. That's a really good kick there for the Broncos, and it'll be a dropout. Number 15, is that Corey Jensen you're talking about, Olivia? Or are you talking about for the Dogs? If you're talking about Tupanua, yeah, he's been really, really dirty in this game, and he's lucky he's still on the field. He really shouldn't be. He really shouldn't be. 17 minutes left here of the game. Short drop out. Will it go 10? It does go 10, but the Broncos will knock it on. I don't know what happened there. Xavier Willison just knocked that ball on so hard, and there was no one even competing for it. Okay, 7 5 3. So that means that you're very well behind. So if you've just seen this, like later, then please refresh. Actually, I advise everyone who's watching this stream right now, refresh the stream. Dogs knock on here. Dogs knock on. Broncos ball at 30. Please refresh the stream because when the internet stopped and whatnot, the power cut out, it would have stopped your stream there and you're a bit behind. So just refresh the stream. So knock on there from the wolf. Spin for the spine for the Doggies isn't a top 4 spine. I don't get why people say they are. I mean, top 8 for sure, but definitely not top 4. Do you say that now, or did you say that before this game started too? Did you say that before this game started too? Jay, stop it. I know you're taking the piss there, Jay. I know you're taking the piss. So the Broncos here will be at the 25 on first tackle. 16 minutes to go. They'd love to hit 40. You'd love to hit 40. The fact that you're not going to hit 50 is pretty disappointing considering it was 34-0 at half time. I don't know about this result. John Cena is a 17-time WWE champion. Well, fair enough. Thank you, Daz. Very irrelevant to what we're watching right now, but sure. Yeah, just refresh, Joe. Hey, Brenton, can you refresh like 6 times for me? 6 times. And watch all the ads too while you're at it. So, 4th tackle here for the Broncos at the 10. They give it to Adam Reynolds. He kicks it through. I don't know if that's played or not, but it might be. It's Broncos ball. That was 4th tackle, and now it's going to be 6 again. And Ben Hunt will be taking it out to the 20. First tackle here for the Broncos. Adam Reynolds, he'll go to Corey Jensen. Corey Jensen's 5 metres away from the line. Yes, yeah, so Olivia, are you saying Sitili Tupanua for the Dogs, or are you saying Corey Jensen for the Broncos? Off to Xavier Willison, who's 9 metres out. The ads have been killing me. Have they really? I've got it on balance right now. I've got ads on balance, not on aggressive or anything like that. So, knock on there from the Broncos. I've got it on balance. If it's too much, I can put it onto low, whatever the lower one is. I didn't realise he was so behind, so I had to shut up. No, Olivia, refresh. Refresh. I'm like super live right now. 14:37 to go. Yeah, I'm fine now. So I think you might need to refresh because my stream is. This is completely caught up. So second tackle now for the Dogs, and they'll be at the 25. Blaze against the Matrix references the ads, and a second later I get hit by a double ad. Yeah, get it, India. Get it, India. Dogs here, taken down here at the 40. Third tackle. Have you got premium, Jay? Jay's a premium kind of guy. That's a premium kind of guy. And that's a knock on. No, they haven't called it. 4th tackle with the Dogs at the 45. Oh, no, it's a bad mistake. But it wasn't a knock on. So 5th tackle with the Dogs. For I know they're going to call knock on. I disagree. I didn't see them knock it on. They're going to say this was a forward, but what are they calling you? I don't think a forward pass is the call. Races Povs have ads. Yeah, bro, super Pov. I'm only travelling the world right now, mate. So, yeah, no, Bally Hayward did. But it's alright, Rady. Like you come here to insult, but you're still coming here. So, thank you for tuning in. If that's it. Actually, are you insulting them or are you insulting me? I just realised maybe I just had a crack at Raider and it's like he's insulting you guys for not having premium, and I took it as insult. Raider, if you were insulting them, I apologise. If you're insulting me, yeah, no, I get you now, Raider. Don't worry, I realised. I realised, man. That's my bad, dude. That's my bad. That's my... Third tackle here at the 25. Third tackle. Jeez. You know what? Screw you anyway, mate. Selwyn Cobbo goes out to the left. Jesse Arthur's now. He's 10 metres out here from the line. 4 tackle. 12 and a half left here. It's so hard reading like context behind like chat comments and stuff, like whether they're sarcastic, whether they're going at me, whether they're going at somebody else. Sometimes it's so very difficult to read it live. Feel free. You know what? You can have a free shot at me, Raider. You know what? Feel free to. You've called everyone their povs, so just go and call me a fuckwit. Nice to have a game without Reed being a muppet. Yeah, no, it's just been Tupanua today who's been really, really dirty. Broncos knocked the ball on, so it'll be Dogs ball here at the 10. Ryson says, nice to have that kind. Parrot Eels avoid the spoons. Olivia, and you're getting timed out. You, my friend, are getting... Yep, thank you, Jay. No, don't be sorry to them, Raider. Don't be sorry to them. They're povs, mate. They're povs, mate. Second tackle here for the Dogs, and they're at the 30. The Dogs will be happy with the second half, though. Yeah, Olivia, just don't even bite to that kind of shit. Third tackle here. I'm surprised we haven't actually got one of those comments for ages. Super sexist comment like that. Scott, was this a smart play by Ciro? Here we go. What am I going to read next? This is a smart play by Ciro. Here we go. Make Marnie and Man look like shit so they don't get called up for Origin. Reed Marnie was never getting called up for Origin. You've got Harry Grant and Ben Hunt there, my guy. Reed Marnie's... He'll be maybe potentially in the future as the hooker, but he's not getting called up for Origin now. And Kurt Mann... Who would Kurt Mann... Is Kurt Mann New South Wales? I would assume that was never happening, to be fair. Bulldogs players that could play Origin. Preston's a shout. Jacob Preston's been a shout this season. I don't think Matt Burton's there, especially with Mitchell Moses and Luai battling it out right now, and Cleary. But I think that Moses probably plays 6 and Cleary probably plays 7. Which I didn't mention on Monday. I completely forgot about it. Yeah, I don't know. There's no way that... Man's a Queenslander. Man's not... no. Man's a Queenslander? Is he really? So 10 minutes to go to the game, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. 34-12 to the Broncos. And that is a big old hit there. It's a penalty. That is a penalty, my friends. That is a penalty. Grant's injured for Origin. Well, guess what? Ben Hunt's going in then. Surprise, surprise. Welcome back. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. Which probably encourages them to... Like, they could try and go with Jai Gray as the 14, but they're not going to. You know why? Because the Rabbitohs have just told the world that Jai Gray is not as good as the results have shown, and not as good as the Dally M leaderboard shows, because they've just decided to put him in 14 and Latrell and fullback, which is the most brain-rattlingly dumbifying decision that I've seen in a long time. I can't believe that they've dropped Jai Gray to the bench. It's the most baffling thing in the history of the world. Like, should I trust Wayne Bennett? Yeah, sure, but it's also still extremely baffling. Extremely baffling. So third tackle in, 9 minutes left of the game. Dogs just score again to kind of fix that points differential back up. Out to the right, Stephen Crichton. Crichton gets taken down to the 5 and over the sideline. Oh, no, he gets the offload away to Kiraz. Oh, to Preston. Preston 3 metres out. And 5 metres out. 4 tackle. Game's gone to shit. Yeah, I thought it was a good tackle, to be fair, but... It's alright. Viliami kick out. That'll be a try time for the Doggies. 34-16 with a kit to come. You're not a former player. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, fair call, Mitchell. Yeah, no, fair call, that one. So try time there for the Dogs. I tell you what, Broncos, you should be... both teams can be disappointed out of this game. The Broncos should have scored 50. They're up 34-0 at halftime. And the Dogs shouldn't have been down 34-0 at halftime, and these are all consolation points. So the Dogs don't win anything from this game. And the Broncos, they will win the 2 points, but there's also a lot of criticism that should come their way for allowing this to be a 16-0 in second half. Like, the Dogs don't win this game, but they may only lose by 1 or 12 at this rate. They may only lose by 1 or 12. Gray's playing 6 now. Oh, they've pushed him into the starting lineup. Why, though? Why is Jai Gray the 6? But he's currently in the top areas for the He's currently around the top for the Dally M's. Why? What's the purpose? If Dogs get one more, it's game on. It's only 7 minutes for it to go, bro. So they've put... Yeah, they have put Jaguar into the 6. You're right. I just don't understand. That's a very inexperienced 6 and 7. There's a bin coming up for the Broncos here. There's a bin going up for the Broncos here. So Dean Mariner goes on report and he goes to the bin. A lot of bins in this game. Should have been more, actually, to be fair, as well. There should have been more, and one of them specifically against the Dogs. 2 of them, actually, against the Dogs. Did I see the plans of Leichhardt will upgrade 40 mil? I haven't seen that, no. Send him off. Tibanua should have been sent off, if anything does. Tibanua should have been sent off. So it is a 34-18 game, 16-point game with 7 minutes 40 to go. Last 8 minutes, 12 players. Look out, Broncos grand final shooters. It would be, I don't know if I'd stop laughing if the Broncos lost from a 34-0 lead. Dayton Sullivan couldn't carry a 10-year-old to win a game. Jerry May. Oh, could carry a 10-year-old to win a game. Wow. I don't think so, though. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. Doing a Pat Mahomes and stat padding so the result doesn't look as bad. Yeah, Dogs fans will try and make excuses for this now, and they'll be like, it's not as bad as it seems. It absolutely is as bad as it seems, but it is only one game. It's only one first half, but also that tells you it tells you the whole context of the game. Like, sure, the Broncos put the Q in the rack, but it's like they were up 34-0, so they didn't need to come out and really give a shit in the second half. But they should have gone on with it and put a bit more of a score on, but it would be disappointing for the Broncos. Crichton out to the right, Jacob Kiraz, and he'll get taken down at the 30. No, he gets off the way on the second tackle to Toby Sexton. Off to Matt Burton. Matt Burton to Preston. Preston to Kiraz. Kiraz to Montoya, and he's lost the ball. That, my friends, should be the game. 7 minutes to go. Montoya knocks the ball on. They've already blamed the scam on the ref, going off the Facebook comments. If any Dogs fan disagrees with those bins, they are off their rocker and have absolutely no idea about the sport. If they disagree with the fact that those are clear and out of bins, and the first one is lucky to not be a send-off, and there's also 2 players in Tupanua, and I can't remember the other one that should have been binned, like that Tupanua knee, the first one, let alone the second one, both should have been bins in that one tackle. And for him to only be penalised for it is out of this world. Montoya's had a shock. Montoya's not been good yet. So, no, Dogs fans are just... That's cope. That's cope. Third tackle now for the Broncos. Burton, thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you. So, out to the left-hand side now to Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds gets it at the back to Ben Hunt, and he'll be taken down at the 25. To be fair, I'm pretty clueless over here. Yeah, but you're not trying to tell us. You're not arguing against the fact that those were bins, you know? Like, if you were coming in here saying those aren't bins, I implore and encourage someone to explain to me how those aren't bins if they believe that it's the incorrect calls there by the referee. So, fit tackle, turn around. Chinny Abiel says, why the fraud alert? They were down 34-0 at half-time. That's why they're fraud alert. That's why, Tune. Because they were down 34-0 at half-time in this game. That doesn't mean they are completely guaranteed frauds yet. We won't have guaranteed fraud sign until a little bit further into the season. But 34-0 at halftime to the Broncos, who have come off the back of 2 straight losses. Fraud alert is absolutely well earned. I'm going to a Mumbai Indians game next week, DVD Smith. We're going to a Mumbai Indians game next week. Few Dogs will probably miss the Titans game after the judiciary. That's a good point, Seth Ryder. Nate says, Tim, because the Bulldogs were getting murdered to begin with. Yeah. You could, if the Dogs scored again and it was a 1-12 win for the Bronx, like, you could nearly put a fraud alert on both, and that's going to go over the sideline. That's a knock-on. That's a knock-on. That's a knock-on there for Marcelo Montoya. So, there's your boy, Nate. Seems like C just joined here. No, you're all good, man. Ben Hunt, 7 on SMM 6, 2027. Ben Hunt's just as old as Adam Reynolds, isn't he? Adam Reynolds' age. 34. I think Ben Hunt's older. I think he's 35. He's 35. Yeah, Ben Hunt's older than everyone else, bro. Davey says, if the match review committee don't suspend Tupanua post for at least 3 weeks for the knee, then it should be completely disbanded. I can't believe that wasn't a bin. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. 4 minutes to go here at the game. Oh, so Adam Reynolds has left the field here. But is that because they're just resting him in the last little bit, or what? Bulldogs always get away with a slap on the wrist from the judiciary, Reid Marnie especially. Yeah, they clamped down and penalised the whole competition for that Reid Marnie shit. Alright, so it's a penalty here to the Broncos. Please don't take the 2. Go for the friggin' 40. Go for the 40, you cats. And I'll go for the 2, you cats. So you're going to lose the second half 18-2. I know you won the first half 34-0, but it's a disappointing second half. Well, dearie me, at least the bandwagons are pissed off. Nah, they'll still be around. If they lose to the Titans next week, which I doubt you do, but if you do lose to the Titans next week, then you might see a little bit less of a crowd. Dogs have won 6, Raiders 5, Storm 4 games. Yep, but the Raiders have won against 3 top 8 teams as well. But also no one's been convincing yet, man. Like, no one has been ultimately the guaranteed convincing across the competition. That's why it's so exciting. Wanna rock and roll all night. Alright, DVD Smith, we're back live for 3 games tomorrow, man. So hopefully see you then. Cheers to the stream, except for the electricity. But then again, that's not my fault. It's also not the hostel's fault. It's the India's fault as a country. And I'm not even lying. Alright, so the Broncos will get the conversion, and it is 36, well, penalty. 36-18 with 2 minutes to go, and don't forget the Broncos actually have a man in the bin. Wanna rock and roll all night. Yeah, I can agree with you, Nathan. Dolphins are dark horses. They've been really good the last couple of weeks. But watch them go and lose to some rando team. That's how this comp has been going this year. Watch them go and lose to some rando team that you never would have expected, because that's how the comp has gone this year. Knock on there from the Dogs, and the Broncos will get the ball here at the 40, 0 tackle. Den says Bulldogs to go. Well, it's not really looking like that right this current second, Den, with a minute 55 to go, down 36-18, and we're down 34-0 at half time. We lost the second half, but won the first half, so I'm happy. I would be, if I was a Broncos fan, I would be happy but very frustrated and annoyed. I think that you can't just put the Q in the rack like they have done, but also they were up 34-0, so they had every right to put the Q in the rack too. And it's just that, like, as a fan's perspective, you want to see them go hard and fix their points differential and put them really high up there. Because now, with it being an 18-point switch, the Dogs will go from plus 98 to plus 80. The Broncos will go from plus 54 to plus 72. So they're still below them, kind of deal. Because they've conceded a few points in the second half, now the Broncos' points differential isn't as helped as much as you would have liked. But, like, you take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a 2-pointer. You're happy with the first half. It was really good. It's the second half that's disappointing, but they also earned the right to do that. Going for 40 now. It's going to be a dropout, but they have 40 seconds to waste. But only like 20 seconds left. So I think the Bulldogs will win next week. Man, I'm a Titans fan. I hope not. Would you say that game would be different if the conditions were dry? Maybe. But that's not really an excuse. This is the first time the Dogs have left Sydney all year. This is quite literally the first time the Dog... No, Scott, not giving it yet. Not giving you it. No, that's cope. Dogs needed this loss. No, they did not. That is not... come on, dude. Come on. Come on. Be realistic, man, in regards to Dogs need this loss. It's like it's a bad loss. Just accept it and just hope they come back and smack the Titans next week. Dogs need... It's round 8. Like, what do you mean Dogs needed this loss in round 8? Needed this loss is crazy. And try time Billy Walters under the post, 40-18 with a kick to come. And that will be the end of it too. Come on, Scott. I know you're smarter than this, Scott. It's round 8, bro. This is not that deep. They're not going to concede 50. It's not that deep. It's a bad result. It's not that deep. Ibrahim says they're facing Gold Coast. Just give the Titans the points. Mate, we couldn't We couldn't win a chook raffle right now with all the tickets. Langham Ball says, wouldn't say fraud alert. No, it's definitely fraud alert. You were down 34-0 at halftime. 100 billion%. But it was a bad performance and move on to next week. Fraud alert is absolutely guaranteed 100% fact. Tell me why I should not put fraud alert on a team that was down 34-0 at halftime to a team that lost 2 straight games. Take your team out of perspective. I know you're a Dogs fan. Take your team out of perspective and put it onto another team who is undefeated through 7 rounds, inclusive of a bye. That is then playing a team that has lost to the Warriors with half of their team out last week, and the Roosters who are in second last right now. And you're telling me that being down 34-0 to them at halftime is not fraud alert worthy? Come on. Does that mean they're not going to win the comp? No, that doesn't mean anything. This is one game. It's one half realistically. But that doesn't mean that the fraud alert doesn't deserve to be there. I'll give you that, Scott. It is a good wake-up call. It is a good wake-up call. It is 100% good wake-up call that this comp is really difficult. Very good. I knew that was coming, Jay. David says, no, they didn't. If anything, they needed to win this game to prove they were a serious contender. This is the first time they've faced a top 4 to 6 team, and they shut the bed. They haven't played the Storm. Haven't played the Raiders. Haven't played the Wars. This is their Broncos. They have beat the Sharks, the Dragons, and the Rabbitohs, though. But it's like... Yeah, sure. Look, guys, if you're a Dogs fan, it's a harsh one. It's a sucky one. You're really frustrated, and I'd be angry. Okay? But it's not end of the world. You are absolutely on fraud alert. I don't even know what a Dogs fan is trying to say in regards to wouldn't say it's fraud alert when they're down 34-0 at half time. But there's a long season to go. It's your first loss of the season. Just bounce back next week against a team that you should be expected to win. Obviously, as a Titans fan, I would like to win that, but I don't think that we do. So you have to come out and just beat us. It's just as simple as that. With the Broncos, you should be very happy with the first half. You should be pretty disappointed with the second half, but you do hit 40, and you take the 2 points, and you're super happy with that one. It's just as simple as that. They will put themselves up now with a win of that caliber. So what they won, because it was 42-18 is the final score, so 24 points. So now they'll go from plus 54 to plus 64, plus 74, plus 78. The Bulldogs are actually plus 74, so that last try actually helps the Broncos get back above them there. But plus 78 will put them above the Storm. Above the Storm. A 24-point win puts them above the Storm. So that's 8 points. If the Storm are to lose tomorrow, Storm, Raiders, and Warriors lose, then the Broncos will finish in second this weekend. But I doubt that's going to happen. But at least they're putting themselves up there in the top of the table. And now the Bulldogs are more than likely going to be within 2 points, everyone. But alright, guys, I appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow for the Rabbitohs versus Storm game, the Warriors versus Knights game, and the Roosters versus Dragons game. Obviously, hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate you guys as usual. It was a crazy, crazy game, but that's the season so far, man. Like I said, if you're a Dogs fan, it's not the fat lady's nowhere near singing. You're still first. You're still first. But all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya. See you later.